And overnight, we'll be around 52. But then tomorrow and Saturday, really warm conditions. 78 for tomorrow, 79 on Saturday. Both could be records.
The government reopens after the 43-day shutdown.
Exclusively on KMOX, thousands of Ackerman, Missouri customers have already had their power shut off. I'm Maria Kina with what you can do.
A long vacant eyesore on the riverfront is coming down. I'm Debbie Monterrey. I'll have that story coming up.
How about Mizzou? They looked really good beating Minnesota. Can you believe that's the biggest win they've ever had against a Big Ten team? We'll have it for you at 6:15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The government is reopening after the longest shutdown in U.S. history, 43 days. Correspondent Jared Hill has our top story.
It's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again.
President Trump pointed blame at congressional Democrats, though CBS News polling shows Americans put the onus on both parties.
The Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm.
Hours earlier, the House passed the bill to fund the government through January 30th, give federal workers back pay, and reverse shutdown-related layoffs.
The main sticking point for Democrats, healthcare subsidies, was not part of the package. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries vows to fight on.
In this country, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, it can't be the case that healthcare is simply a privilege for the wealthy. We believe as Democrats that healthcare has to be a right, and a right that's affordable and available to every single American in the United States.
Air traffic controllers are waiting for lump sum back pay to hit their bank accounts, and hundreds of flight cancellations are expected again today. CBS's Erica Brown.
Even with the shutdown over, some uncertainty remains about how soon air travel disruptions caused by the shutdown could come to an end, or when flight restrictions at major travel hubs would be lifted.
The FAA says more controllers are coming to work, and cuts will remain at 5% instead of increasing to 10% by the end of the week. The House will vote next week on whether to compel the Justice Department to release the Jeffrey Epstein files.
House Democrats and 4 Republicans forced Speaker Mike Johnson's hand using an obscure tactic known as a discharge petition, which requires the signatures of a majority of members to circumvent House leadership and bring a bill to the floor. The key 218th signature came from new Arizona Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva. Her swearing in had been delayed with House members out of town during the shutdown.
I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
But the bill faces an uphill battle in the Senate. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
New research shows almost 1 in 3 of us deal with nagging headache disorders. CBS's Michael George.
A study published in The Lancet found almost 3 billion people are affected by headache disorders. And there's been no significant improvement in those numbers over the last 30 years. Women are more than twice as likely as men to suffer from headaches. Migraines and medication overuse were the most common causes.
And it wasn't Humpty Dumpty, but Russia's new AI-powered humanoid robot that took a great fall, took a few steps out onto the in Moscow and face planted. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
At 6:03, it is mostly cloudy and 38 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll get you that nice warm weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Exclusively on KMOX, Consumers Council of Missouri says Ameren, Missouri has disconnected 17,347 Missouri households for non-payment.
Sandra Padgett tells KMOX low-income households are having a tough time keeping up with their bills.
This is not surprising because we know that over the past year, Fire increased their rates by 10 to 12%, depending on where you live in Missouri. Ackerman raised their rates recently by 12%, and Missouri American Water raised their rates by 25%. Another concern is that we don't know how much money the community action agencies who administer the LIHEAP funds. LIHEAP is the Federal Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. We don't know how much money all of the community action agencies across the state have to keep this program going.
In the past, Ameren has said they have programs to help people. However, one of those programs supply grants, usually one-time grants of about $150. The majority of most Ameren bills, since the rate hike especially, are substantially more. Organizations like Heat Up St. Louis will always help those who have nowhere to turn. Go to heatupstlewis.org. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to Ackerman, Missouri for comments.
Boeing union machinists will vote this morning on the latest contract offer from the company.
I spoke to machinists on the picket line who say they believed yesterday was the final day of the strike after they narrowly rejected Boeing's last offer, 51 to 49%. Marshall Daniels, a 40-year machinist at Boeing, says the economics of an over 100-day-long strike is beginning to wear on them.
Economically, we're feeling tired. We're feeling wore out. And with the holidays coming up and insurance, people, they're ready to get it over with.
If approved, the machinists would return to work on Monday. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A riverfront landmark is coming down.
Demolition officially gets underway today at the Millennium Hotel on 4th Street. An environmental remediation of the Central Building and the South Tower has been completed. According to the Gateway Arch Park Foundation, the demolition will be done in phases over the next 2 years. In its place, eventually, will be a $670 million mixed-use destination developed by the Cordish companies. The Millennium first opened as Stouffer's Riverfront Inn in 1969. It's been vacant since 2014. Debbie Monterrey, KMOX News.
Also downtown today, a big cleanup.
The Tourism Trash Force does these twice a year. Explore St. Louis and the Downtown Community Improvement District brings staff and volunteers to do a massive cleanup of downtown. It just so happens a supercomputing conference will be here Monday and bring with it 20,000 attendees. There are 2 shifts, one from 10 to 12 and one from 2 to 4 down at America Center. The director of Convention and Visitor Services at Explore St. Louis states downtown is the front door for many of the region's visitors, and the Trash Force is part of taking pride in our community. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
East Alton is looking to regulate e-scooters away from sidewalks.
This is Stuart McMillan.
We just want to get ahead of the game.
Village of East Alton Mayor Darren Carlton says the board is being proactive with an ordinance that updates city bike code to include e-scooters. He says the upcoming vote this Tuesday is not reactionary to any problems with bikes or e-scooters within the city.
Electric scooters, are becoming a big thing, and we kind of want to limit the ones that are on the sidewalk.
The ordinance would also change the maximum age for riding on sidewalks.
We actually changed it. No person 13 or more shall ride on a sidewalk. So we want to get the old ones off the sidewalk.
The mayor sees this ordinance passing with no opposition.
Local ER doctors say they're seeing an increasing number of people coming into the hospital after a crash on their e-bikes or scooters.
Dr. Tiffany Osborne is a WashU emergency medicine and critical care physician at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
Predominantly, you're going to see facial and brain injuries. 83% of people who are severely injured in e-scooters, they sustain some injury to the brain or the face.
Dr. Osborne says too many riders are not wearing helmets on e-bikes and e-scooters, while many others are doing so while intoxicated. Her advice, put on that helmet, ride sober, watch where you're going, and stay in designated lanes. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Peabody made headlines recently for announcing they're moving out of downtown and into Des Peres. KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says it's part of a shift from bigger companies to smaller ones.
What is cool to see is that small and medium-sized businesses are moving downtown. And as downtown develops more of these things that give it a flavor and a 24-hour presence, the opportunity for future moves of big companies downtown increases.
We've got your weather forecast coming up next. We'll be flirting with records heading into the weekend, plus a check on traffic. It is 6:08.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, let's check the roads before it gets bright out there. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the outlook's pretty bright right now, at least, Tom. Of course, I know we'll get more volume. Thursdays sometimes aren't that bad in the mornings. We'll see how it plays out. But right now, just a couple of delays. And actually, now it's westbound 70. You know, earlier it was eastbound 70 coming through Warrenton, but now it's westbound 70 from Wright City out to the Wright City rest area. It's kind of busy. I think that's the traffic that was bottled up through Wentzville Parkway that they picked up the road work, and that's all moved west. So, again, it's slow on the westbound side there, but not eastbound. North 55 still looking good at 67. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, you've got that delay. It's not a jam right now, but it's slow approaching Greenmount most of the way into 158 in that construction area. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a nice day today with sunshine through some high clouds at times. Our high 67. Clear early tonight, then partly cloudy later tonight, low 52. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow, breezy and even warmer in the afternoon with a high of 78. The record is 81 from 1971. For Saturday, times of sun and clouds, breezy and warm, high 79. Again, the record 81 from 1971. Sunday will be much cooler despite more sun than clouds, high 59. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Right now it's 38 in St. Peters. We have 42 in Florissant. Cloudy skies mostly downtown at the Arch and 38. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's 6:12. The petition to force a House vote on releasing the Epstein files now has all the signatures it needs. Earlier, House Democrats released emails they say seem to show that Epstein thought President Trump knew more about his behavior than Trump has admitted. The emails handed over by Epstein's estate suggest Trump may have been aware Epstein had young girls around him long before Epstein was convicted. The president has denied any wrongdoing and has not been charged. More from CBS News correspondent Scott McFarland.
Republicans on that panel have responded to this release, saying that these excerpts were cherry-picked by Democrats and part of a broader document set. You heard the White House making a similar criticism that they say this was a leaked set of records to friendly media by Democrats on this panel.
The White House is calling the release a fake narrative aimed at smearing the president.
After 43 days, a deal is signed into law to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. First, the House passed the measure.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed.
6 Democrats voted with Republicans to reopen the government. President Trump then signed the bill at an Oval Office ceremony.
Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. We also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again.
The measure does not address expiring health care tax credits. That is why the majority of Democrats opposed it in the first place.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke about the Democratic senators who voted with Republicans.
High-profile votes. We all have to explain ourselves to our constituents. And, it's not for me to explain why someone in the United States Senate decided to break from a majority of their colleagues and partner with Republicans.
The bill extends government funding through January 30th. Republicans promised to hold a vote by mid-December to extend health care subsidies, but there is no guarantee. The package includes more than $203 million to boost security for lawmakers and an additional $28 million for the security of Supreme Court justices.
The U.S. Mint pressed its final penny yesterday, ending more than 200 years of production. The penny was discontinued because of the cost, making it nearly 4 cents per coin. Despite being less necessary, the Mint produced over 3.2 billion pennies last year. The Treasury expects to save about $56 million a year by ending the production. Merchants may now round cash transactions to the nearest nickel. We'll have more on this story coming up at 6:42.
That's interesting. So they'll stay in production. They'll stay in circulation. There are
right.
billions of them out there, but they just stopped making them. Wow. I bet those are going to be some very valuable pennies, those last ones.
The last ones, yeah, I bet.
Right? They'll auction those off. 6:15. How about the Missouri Tigers? And that stat, I can't get over that. In their history, they've never beaten a Big Ten team as badly as they did last night. 83-60 over Minnesota. The last time they beat a team by almost that, 22 points back in 2022, knocking off Illinois in the bragging rights game. A tremendous performance. 5 players in double figures. Mark Mitchell with 18, Sebastian Mack with 14, Jacob Cruz with 14, Jaden Stone with 13, Anthony Robinson had 10. Here's Coach Dennis Gates.
I saw unselfishness, next man up mentality, guys cheering for each other who were not subbed into the game. I made an adjustment in certain ways with substitution patterns, kept shooters on the court because of their defense from a pack line standpoint. We were able to then open up some lanes and alleys for Mark Mitchell because we knew they were going to heavy dig. Ultimately, I just think our guys were able to execute that game plan, and it just speaks about our depth. The depth of our team and even the strength of our team is in the numbers, and these guys are always cheering and always being ready.
Who's the best team in the area right now? Is it Mizzou? Is it SLU, averaging 103 points per game through their first 3? Or is it Illinois, the 14th ranked team in the country, beating Texas Tech the other night, 81-77, looked awfully good. One of the best teams in the country. Southern Illinois is not at that level, but the Salukis are saying, hey, don't forget about us. They raised some eyebrows last night by losing, but in overtime, to a good Nevada team on the road, 86-81. Certainly we'll keep an eye on the Salukis. College football, Mizzou taking on Mississippi State. Their tight end Brett Norfleet listed as questionable for the game. That would be a huge addition for them if they can get him. The NFL, it's going to be the Patriots and the Jets tonight. That's the Thursday night game. Meanwhile, the Cy Young Awards have been handed out, and for the first time in 40 years, a player has won Rookie of the Year and then the Cy Young Award the following year, and his name is Paul Skeens. The Pirates pitcher, only 23 years old, has won the Cy Young Award in a unanimous vote, led the majors with a 1.97 ERA, struck out 216 batters. Cardinals actually had some pretty good success against him, oddly enough. The Tigers ace Tarek Skubal, second straight AL Cy Young Award. He is the 12th pitcher in Major League history to do that, win a Cy Young in back-to-back seasons. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
There, when St. Louis mourned.
My father, Jack Buck, passed away tonight.
We didn't just lose a great broadcaster, we lost a great person and a friend to the entire sports world.
Busch Stadium was the same sea of red the Hall of Fame broadcaster witnessed season after season
as family, friends, and longtime listeners gathered to celebrate a great life.
We cannot begin to tell you all how much your thoughts, your prayers, your cards, your comments on KMOX, what you've done out by his statue here at Busch Stadium, we cannot begin to tell you how much that means.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Discover one of St. Louis's greatest treasures, St. Louis Public Library's Central Library. Designed by world-renowned architect Cass Gilbert and completed in 1912, this Beaux Arts masterpiece blends stunning historic details with modern design after a $70 million award-winning renovation. Experience the grandeur for yourself. Free docent-led tours are available Mondays at 11 and 12:30 and Saturdays at 11 noon and 1 p.m. Visit online at slpl.org to learn more. St. Louis Public Library.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:20. Roger Brand watching the roads for us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're looking good out there so far. Just a couple of roadwork slowdowns. Scott, this traffic report service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. So if you're traveling out to the west of us, it's actually westbound 70 through the Wright City Rest area toward Warrenton. That's slow now. The eastbound side's okay for the time being anyway. Southbound 61, a little slow at Wentzville Parkway. There's some slow stuff east of Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Really 364 into Winghaven is kind of busy at this point in time running through there. Northbound 55, a little heavy at 67 in Festus. The right lane's a little crowded coming up through Butler Hill. On the Illinois side, the biggest delays we have are eastbound 64, backed up briefly as you approach Green Mountain. From there, it's slow most of the way into 158, but otherwise the rest of the area interstates right now are in good shape, but we're building volume, so you know that'll change. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is giving veterans and active military 10% off all month. That's 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. Pleasant with sunshine, some high clouds today, high 67. Tonight, clear early, partly cloudy late, low 52. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds again, breezy and warmer in the afternoon. Friday's high 78, Saturday's high 79, Sunday just 59 for the high, but we will still have some sun. Currently, it's partly cloudy and 39 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. A federal judge ordered the release of more than 600 people arrested as part of the president's Operation Midway Blitz immigration crackdown in Illinois.
A federal judge is signaling that hundreds of people arrested and detained in the Chicago area immigration crackdown released on bond while they await immigration hearings, and is ordering the full release of 13 detained individuals based on a 2022 consent decree outlining how U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement can make warrantless arrests. The judge also gave government attorneys a Friday deadline to comb through a list of 615 people detained at jails and federal facilities nationwide to see if they qualify for alternatives to detention, such as using an ankle monitor while their immigration cases proceed. A Justice Department attorney argued that there may be people on that larger list that pose a threat if released. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
House Democrats and some Republicans are urging a vote on extending Obamacare subsidies, an idea that might get pushback from the White House.
Healthcare was the major hiccup that led to a historic government shutdown.
Moving forward, Senate Majority Leader John Thune has guaranteed Democrats a vote on Affordable Care Act tax credits in December. But House Speaker Mike Johnson has not committed to that. As a way around Johnson, Democratic leaders are floating a discharge petition, which could force the bill to the floor with enough Republican support.
I think this is a compromise that folks on both sides of the aisle should be able to get behind because, the problem here is a very serious one. We're talking about 22 million Americans who are about to see a sudden increase in their premium, over doubling in some cases. And especially in our state, which has such a high cost of living, that's something that a lot of folks just can't afford.
Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley spoke with KTLA TV about legislation he's behind called the Fix-It Act.
We need to find a way to avoid that cliff and to provide at least some temporary relief for folks while we try to tackle the broader issues that are affecting the cost of care in our country. So our bill will provide a temporary extension of these credits for 2 years.
He told the LA TV station the legislation would provide income caps,
so that the credits go to the folks who really need them. It will also have strong anti-fraud measures as another way to save costs. And then we're also reining in some of the overcharges that are that benefit or that go towards insurance companies through the Medicare Advantage program. So all of these components will actually make it so we're paying for the full cost of extending these subsidies, meaning that we're not going to be adding to the deficit.
President Trump, though, suggesting that Republicans should stop, quote, money-sucking insurance companies from taking taxpayer dollars. Some members of the GOP now proposing cutting the enhanced Obamacare subsidies and replacing them with flexible savings accounts. I'm Clayton Neville.
Even though Congress passed the spending bill with overwhelming GOP support, there are some Republicans not happy with one part of the bill. That's a ban on many THC-infused products, something Kentucky Senators Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul wanted overturned.
The spending bill reopening the United States government includes a ban on unregulated sales of intoxicating hemp products. The Farm Bill of 2018 has a loophole allowing for and decriminalizing unregulated THC products to be sold everywhere, like gas stations, online, and other retailers. The products in the form of gummies and drinks are infused with intoxicating THC, which comes from the marijuana plant. 39 state attorneys general have come together to ask Congress to ban intoxicating THC products on the federal level. Republican Senator Rand Paul is advocating for cannabis farmers. It is a gigantic industry that would be devastated by the banning of the THC products. Rand Paul discusses why farmers grow hemp.
For many farmers, hemp has proved to be a lifeline, a new cash crop. Farmers turn to growing hemp to mitigate the losses they've endured during this season of hardship. But that lifeline may soon be extinguished by this very legislation.
Paul continues discussing working with government on compromise.
Members of the industry, myself and others who are advocates of this, have been willing to get rid of synthetic cannabinoids. We've been willing to compromise at every turn, but we're met with the numbers in this bill which will eradicate the hemp industry.
Mitch McConnell, who authored the 2018 Farm Bill, says that many companies have taken advantage of the loophole. The bill does not affect non-intoxicating CBD and other industrial hemp products. I'm Katie Clark.
It's 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Your eyes are important to you, and you should trust them to the doctors, the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. They are Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, things like dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma. Yes, they do LASIK surgery. They are experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. And yes, they can also make sure that your prescription for your glasses and contacts are spot on and help you get new ones. But you really should get your eyes examined, not just the eye chart, but examined at least once a year. So call Ophthalmology Associates today and make your appointment 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or find them online at youridoc.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh.
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 6:30, we have mostly cloudy skies, 39 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Most are heading out the door and hitting the highways. Some slow traffic around the area, building volume, of course. So northbound 270 is one of those places. It's a little bit busy right around Big Bend Doherty Ferry and approaching Clayton Road up to Ladue in the work zone is a little heavy. Southbound 61, slower coming down from south of Highway P to Wentzville Parkway, and both sides of Winghaven's kind of bogged down. The 70 delays out around Wright City, Warrenton, both directions for the time being have thinned out. If you're north on 55, there's a little slowdown into the work zone at 67. From about Bayless up through Virginia, there's a couple of busy spots running up into the city through that construction zone. And on the Illinois side, that road work eastbound 64 through Greenmount Road, the delays now, there's still a slowdown, but it's east of 50 most of the way in through 158. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be pretty warm the next couple of days. 67 this afternoon with some high clouds. Overnight about 52. Then flirting with records tomorrow and Saturday. Tomorrow's high 78. Saturday 79 degrees. The records are 81 for both days. And then we're back into the 50s for Sunday and Monday. Right now it is 39 in St. Peters. We have 43 in Florissant, 39 downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:31. Guns and Hoses, the annual Backstoppers fundraiser, has a new twist this year.
St. Louis firefighters, police officers from the St. Louis region are going to fight Kansas City. And I think that that's something new that is going to be absolutely great because we know St. Louis is much better than Kansas City at everything, right?
The I-70 rivalry is extended to Guns and Hoses this year with 2 fights between Kansas City and St. Louis first responders on the card. Executive Director Steve Holly says he hopes this addition becomes a tradition.
The Show Me Showdown this year, we're going to do 2 fights. We're going to have a male fight and a female fight. We want to get a little flavor for what it's going to be like, start this rivalry, and then grow it from year to year.
The fights take place at the Enterprise Center Thanksgiving evening. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Even with an end to the government shutdown, flight schedules continue to shrink, and delays and cancellations are, for some, making flying intolerable. Correspondent Ben Thomas.
Exhausted.
Traveling to Atlanta Tuesday.
Tired. I'm trying to keep my hopes up.
Brittany Neal was just trying to hang on.
First it was delayed, and then it got canceled completely. So now I have to wait a whole nother day.
I will never travel again.
But Marilyn Ross had it.
If I travel again, I will drive.
Airlines have canceled more than 9,000 flights since the FAA ordered a 10% reduction in air traffic to cope with short staffing in control towers, made worse by the government shutdown as air traffic controllers went unpaid.
The air traffic controllers who didn't miss a day, they came for every scheduled shift that they had, they should get a bonus. Now, I don't know how many they're going to be. We have to do that analysis, but I'm aligned with the president. We are going to pay them a bonus, and it'll be $10,000, depending on how many we have. They should come to the White House, and he should present them with their checks.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy echoing President Trump.
It'll be $10,000, depending on how many we have.
But there is no timeline for when the flight cuts might ease. I'm Ben Thomas.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the Zoo to Enterprise Center, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang for the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Nicholas. Four of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. KMOX.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Bloomberg Money Report is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Market futures are mixed this morning, with investors bracing for further volatility as the government resumes releasing economic figures ahead of the Federal Reserve's next meeting. The White House has said October jobs and consumer price reports might never be released due to the shutdown, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics hasn't released a new schedule of data releases, but the agency could combine 2 months' worth of data to get back on track. Toyota says it'll invest as much as $10 billion in the U.S. over the next 5 years to help boost production. The announcement comes as the Trump administration pressures the global auto industry to shift more production to the U.S. Toyota just opened a new lithium-ion battery plant in North Carolina. And Waymo will become the first robo-taxi provider in the U.S. to offer driverless rides on highways. The service will start on the West Coast in San Francisco, Phoenix, and L.A. But the company says it plans to make the new service available to more users over time. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This fall, get a taste of what's to come at Dragonstone, an exclusive new Lombardo Homes community in Darden Prairie, west of Highway K and south of 364. Join us Saturday, November 15th at our Inverness display in O'Fallon for a grand opening celebration filled with treats, a cozy coffee bar, mini pumpkin pies, and a first look. Dragonstone, building Tradition Series homes and offering only 5 spacious home sites. Dragonstone offers luxury and privacy, as well as the convenience of living just minutes from Highways 364 and 64. Visit LombardoHomes.com for more information.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
KMOX, your place for NCAA football play. Saturday, as Oklahoma faces Alabama. Pre-game at 2, kick at 2:30. Hear it here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:39. St. Louis police have arrested a suspect related to an hours-long standoff early yesterday. It started with a pursuit in Illinois. 39-year-old Roy Barnett Jr. charged with unlawful use of a weapon, unlawful possession of a firearm, and other counts. SWAT was called out to West Florissant and Alcott. The standoff ended around 6 a.m. with the arrest. No injuries reported. Police say relative to the pursuit or any other incidents should be directed at the Pontoon Beach Police. Meanwhile, a massive battery manufacturing plant planned for the North Riverfront is officially dead. The Israeli company was proposing a $574 million project, but they pulled the plug because the U.S. Energy Department yanked away a $197 million grant. The facility would have reportedly brought in about 150 high-paying jobs. It would have been a big win for North City, but the grant was among 600 related grants canceled by the Trump administration. At 6:40, we have traffic and weather together, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, there's slow going out there in spots, Scott, right now. This traffic reports the service of Duke's Mayonnaise, northbound 55, a little busy into 67. It's more of a solid slowdown now from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, northbound 270, Sappington through Gravois slow. North of Big Bend up through Manchester. They cleared a crash to the shoulder before 64, so it's a little busier than it normally would be through there. Southbound, barely a slowdown at Ladue. Southbound 61 approaching P, midway down to Wentzville Parkway slow. 64 Prospect, midway into the Boulevard. 364 through Winghaven, that's all pretty heavy. Eastbound 70 through Highway Z to the 64 merge is a little slow. Downtown, we're still okay at the Poplar. It looks like northbound Route 3 got some heavy traffic from north of Jerome up through Judith toward Monsanto, now to Solid Jam. It's pretty busy. And there's the road work delays eastbound 64, east of 50, most of the way through Greenmount into 158. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
Country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
Now for your weather forecast. Boy, it is going to be warm the next couple of days. Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Scott. It is, especially tomorrow and Saturday, ahead of a strong cold front that will come blasting through here late Saturday and early Saturday night. Pleasant today. We'll see a lot of sun through the high clouds. Those high clouds should thin out later this afternoon. We'll get to 67. We start out clear, but then some low clouds move in late tonight, or low 52. A warm day tomorrow. Any low cloud should give way to a fair amount of sunshine. It'll become breezy, too, with a high jumping up to 78. We could be in the upper 70s again Saturday ahead of that front with some sunshine. Records both days are 81 from 1971. But the front does come through. No rain with it. Just much cooler behind it for Sunday. Despite more sun than clouds and a high of 59, we'll be in the upper 50s again on Monday with some sunshine. There could be rain, though, later next week. Early 40 at St. Peter's, 43 in Florissant. Partly cloudy, 44 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It is 6:42. After more than 230 years, America has minted its last penny. Will we miss them? Here's Alex Silverman.
John Krelovich is with Stax Bowers, America's oldest rare coin dealer. His title is Director of Numismatic Americana. John, that's one of the best titles I think I've ever heard.
Thanks. I get to be the DNA, so I rather like it myself.
When you hear that America has just produced its last penny, what goes through your mind?
At long last. Finally.
Really?
Honest to goodness. So collectors love pennies, or as we call them, cents. That's the official statutory name of the denomination. We love them. We collect them. We try to assemble sets of every date from 1793 to the present. But we also realize that no one uses them anymore. In 1792, when the denomination was devised, our lowest denominations were a half cent and a cent. And obviously, the spending power of a half cent and a cent back in the 1790s was much, much larger than today. And we realized that they're basically vestigial. They are unnecessary. They're not used in commerce. And I'm guessing that you, like me and everyone I know, has a big old bowl or bottle of them somewhere, and they just sit around.
Part of the reason, though, why they sit around is that people have some sentimental tie to them. Why do you think that is? Something that is, really, as you point out, worthless.
Well, I think that for people of my generation, I'm just about 50, we remember gathering them and collecting them as young people and putting them in our little blue folders. And that was often something we did with Cub Scouts or with our parents or with our friends. And obviously for an earlier generation, they remember penny candy, when a penny could actually buy something. So I think a lot of people have that sort of fun recollection of the treasure hunt of going through a big old bowl or bag or rolls of pennies, hoping that they could find something valuable or add to their collection.
Yeah, I remember my grandfather talking about penny candy. He would have been 104 now. Will these last these 2025 pennies be valuable to collectors, or are there just too many of them for that?
Well, I mean, over the last 6 years, so since 2020, the U.S. Mint has struck almost 31 billion cents. Billion with a B. So that's about 10 times more than McDonald's has sold Big Macs. That's a lot of pennies. So with a couple of handfuls for every man, woman, and child in the United States, I don't think there's necessarily going to be scarcity involved with modern cents, but people will absolutely save them. People like the first of things, people like the last of things. And of course, the U.S. Mint's going to be striking collector edition things and capitalizing upon the popularity of the cent with collectors probably for decades.
College basketball. Who's the best team in the region? Is it Illinois? Got to be, right? Ranked 14th in the country, beat Texas Tech, number 11, a couple of days ago, 81-77 in Champaign. Great win for Illinois. They look fantastic. Very talented roster. SLU off to a terrific start. They've won their first 3 games, averaging 103 points per game. Is that good? Beating SEMO, Chicago State, and Lindenwood. Not the greatest competition, although SEMO's pretty good, but SLU looks awfully explosive, especially with their offense and their depth. But Missouri made some noise last night, beating Minnesota 83-60. Missouri found themselves with 5 players in double figures with a 23-point win over Minnesota. It is, get this, the largest win by Missouri over a Big Ten team ever. The previous high was a 22-point win in the bragging rights game against Illinois 3 years ago. Here's Coach Dennis Gates on the team's depth and unselfishness.
I saw unselfishness, next man up mentality, guys cheering for each other who were not subbed into the game. I made an adjustment in certain ways with substitution patterns, kept shooters on the court because of their defense from a pack line standpoint. We were able to then open up some lanes and alleys for Mark Mitchell because we knew they were going to heavy dig. Ultimately, I just think our guys were able to execute that game plan, and it just speaks about our depth. The depth of our team and even the strength of our team is in the numbers, and these guys are always cheering and always being ready.
This is a very deep team. Mark Mitchell had 18 points. Sebastian Mack had 14. Jacob Cruz, 14. Jaden Stone, 13. Anthony Robinson, 10. 5 players in double figures as the Tigers won 83-60 over Minnesota. The Tigers are 4-0. They have 4 more games against easier competition here in the month of November. 51 second-half points for Mizzou to take down Minnesota in Columbia, 83-60. Now, Southern Illinois is an interesting one to watch. They beat Nevada. They lost to Nevada on the road in overtime, but they gave them a scare all the way to the end. The Wolfpack beat the Salukis last night, 86-81 in overtime. Keep an eye on SIU. In college football, Mizzou will play Mississippi State this weekend in Columbia. It's senior night. That's because Missouri will close the season with 2 road games, Oklahoma and Arkansas. But for Missouri, Brett Norfleet, their tight end, is now listed as questionable. We'll see if they can get him back. He is obviously a big piece of the puzzle as to what they do, but they are out of the college football playoff race now. Missouri is, with a record of 6-3. Illinois is also 6-3. They'll host Maryland on Saturday afternoon at 2:30. The Cy Young Award in the National League goes to Paul Skeens. First time in 40 years that a pitcher has won Rookie of the Year, and then the Cy Young the next year. The Pittsburgh Pirates 23-year-old unanimous vote for Cy Young, and the winner in the American League back-to-back seasons for the 12th time in baseball history, Tarek Skubal of the Tigers. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Here's an energy efficiency tip from Quiver River Electric Cooperative. Thinking about purchasing new appliances? Consider both the purchase price and the cost to operate the appliance over its lifetime of 10 to 20 years. When shopping, look for the Energy Star label. These Energy Star qualified products exceed minimum standards for efficiency and quality. You can save about 15% of your normal energy use with these appliances. For more tips, visit quiver.com or call us at 1-800-392-3709. For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Many families in Missouri and Illinois live in freezing conditions. They can't afford utilities.
HeatUpStLouis.org has helped thousands. 100% of public donations help neighbors stay warm.
Please help HeatUpStLouis.org.
Many families in our region are living paycheck to paycheck, or others may be seniors or disabled neighbors on fixed incomes. Please drop off a check payable to Heat Up St. Louis to any Commerce Bank associate. Thank you.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the Holiday Food Drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign or to make an online donation, head to KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 6:51, an update on the roads from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got some more volume out there. They're slow going, but so far no serious problems. They just moved a crash to the shoulder northbound 55 at Butler Hills. So if you're coming in that way, it really doesn't look bad. I mean, the delays when it was out there were brief, and they've since dissipated. So you're just looking at a backup from the Union Road overpass headed up to a River to Pear. This traffic reports the service of the Moolah Shriners Center, northbound 270 north of 55 to Tesson Ferry, both sides of Gravois, 44 up through Doherty Ferry, bumper to bumper stuff, and then it's slow up to 64 again, where they cleared a more recent crash as well. Southbound 61, south of P down onto 64 to about the Boulevard, and 364 through Wing Haven's busy. Eastbound 70A in through to almost Highway K, just a slower pace running through there. A couple of spots through Zumbel and 94 to 5th Street as well. Looks like we got a crash southbound 170 near the old bottom overpass. Traffic's backing up through Delmar because of that. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, just a little heavy right at the Poplar Street Bridge, and eastbound 64 on the brakes from 50 into Greenmount, and it's slow from there most of the way to 158. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Hello,
everyone. I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2 and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
Pretty easy forecast. High 67 today with sun, clear tonight, low 52. Tomorrow, sun and some clouds, high 78. Right now, it's 40 downtown.
The news continues at 6:53. If you have a kid who plays hockey, you've probably replaced some broken sticks over the years. But as KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us, what's broken is being brought back together to bring hope to a grieving family and hockey club.
The Afton Americans have been mourning the loss of 16-year-old Colin Brown, killed by a stray bullet as he and his dad were traveling on I-55 about this time last year. Afton board member Julie Jordan tells Total Information AM the club is renovating the meeting space where families met following the tragedy. They're taking used and broken sticks from players across the region to cover an entire wall with messages of hope.
And we're asking that if players or parents are donating those sticks, they're able to write a message on it to the family, to the community, to future hockey players.
Jordan says you can drop off those sticks at Afton Ice Rink on Gravois. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The village of East Salton is looking to update old city code regulating bicycles. Mayor Darren Carlton says the proposed ordinance would add rules for e-scooters and an age requirement.
So you got to have lights, bells, and then, of course, brakes. So that's basically the gist of it. It's basically our bicycle ordinance with the change in the age and electric scooters in there.
Mayor Carlton says the ordinance is likely to pass during next Tuesday's meeting.
Local ER doctors say they're seeing an increasing number of people coming into the hospital after a crash on an e-bike or e-scooter. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer says 83% of people who are severely hurt on them suffer damage to the face or brain.
A couple of reasons for the increase in crashes, according to WashU emergency medicine and critical care physician Dr. Tiffany Osborne at Barnes Jewish Hospital. First, not enough riders are wearing helmets.
And then the other issue is intoxication. A lot of times people who sustain injuries have also been riding these e-scooters or the electric bikes after intoxication. Up to 70% of e-scooter injuries are associated with alcohol in some studies. Crashes a lot of times occur at night or after social events. So this is not a good combination.
Dr. Osborne's advice, put on that helmet, ride sober, watch where you're going, and stay in designated lanes. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Today's birthdays, actor Joe Mantegna, 78 years old. Whoopi Goldberg is 70. Jimmy Kimmel, 58. And the kid from It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Hawkins, is now 84 years old.
Local celebrity birthdays. Our good friend, former Cardinals pitcher Jason Simon Tachi is 52 today. Also, happy 52nd birthday to Eric Adam Schutzenhofer of Shiloh, Illinois. Happy birthday to Andy Kinder. Sue Vincent, rather. Andy's next week. Sue Vincent from your friends of 78 IWA, the 78 class. Happy birthday to Denise Vineyard.
This is the best birthday ever.
Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. 314-966-5000. Get your eyes checked. Your eye exam, an annual eye exam, is good for you, not only to give you peace of mind that your eyes are in good health, because it's a great check of your overall health, but you want to get your eyes checked, especially if you're in a business like mine where you tell people what you see. That's why one of the reasons why I go once a year to Ophthalmology Associates. It's a really easy appointment. I go see Dr. Greg Birdie. You may see Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer. You'll have a very pleasant experience at Ophthalmology Associates. They're at 12990 Manchester Road. That's just west of 270. So a nice, convenient location for most of us. And it's a very easy phone number and website to remember. The phone number is 314-966-5000. You can call them and make an appointment. Mention me, Tom Ackerman at KMOX. That's where you heard about them. Or you can just go to youridoc.com. Very easy website to remember as well. Youridoc.com, because they are your eye doc. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Almost to 7 o'clock. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, we've got slow traffic on southbound 61 approaching Highway P down onto 64 to almost Lake St. Louis Boulevard and then Winghaven, not quite midway into Highway K. Eastbound 70 from A all the way in through Bryan Road's pretty busy. After that, doesn't look so bad. A lot of volume coming north on 270 right now as well. Slow traffic north of 55 up through 44 and Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55, a little busy at 67. The right lane's a little slow at Butler Hill, backed up from the Union Road overpass to the River de Pere. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 slow at the Poplar and eastbound 64 for 50 through Greenmounts bumper to bumper. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The federal government is finally opening for business.
The yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
The House narrowly passed a bill to end the 43-day-old shutdown, longest in U.S. history. President Trump?
We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again.
Democrats say they'll keep fighting for health care subsidies. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
This fight is not over. We're just getting started.
SNAP food benefits could be restored as early as today. As for federal workers who haven't gotten paychecks, CBS's Lindsay Reiser.
Each agency or department's payroll center will start processing back pay as soon as the government reopens, but it could take a few days depending on where the employee works.
Correspondent Michael Wallace takes a look at what's happening at the airports.
The FAA is still cutting 6% of the flights at 40 major airports today as more air traffic controllers start returning to work. Those cuts will remain in effect until the agency deems the system can safely return to normal operations. These travelers at Baltimore Washington International are trying to cope.
It was very nerve-wracking checking on my phone all day today.
Mostly just a lot of worry that I was even going to be able to get home.
Industry analysts suspect it'll take about a week for the air traffic system to get back to normal. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A day after the release of a new batch of private emails from the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, some, mentioning President Trump, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is one step closer to a vote to release all of the case files. CBS's Scott McFarland from Capitol Hill.
Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva of Arizona was finally sworn in Wednesday after nearly 2 months of waiting and became the decisive signature on a petition to force that vote. There were survivors of the Epstein case in the House chamber yesterday. They've been pushing for full transparency. The House Speaker says there could be a vote next week on this bill to force the release of Epstein case files. That would raise pressure on the Senate to do the same.
Stop at a Starbucks on your way to work for an eye opener. You may be out of luck. Thousands of unionized baristas striking today at 550 locations in 25 cities, demanding better pay, schedules, and benefits. The protest comes on one of the busiest days of the year for the coffee chain. Free red cups for customers who order holiday-themed drinks like peppermint mocha and caramel brulee lattes. Dow futures and NASDAQ futures each down 18. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
At 7:04, it's mostly cloudy, right at 40 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll check that forecast for you. It's a good one, and it runs through the weekend, some unseasonably warm temperatures. Only on KMOX, a consumer advocate group is sounding the alarm about Ackerman, Missouri customers who have already been disconnected. And we've only had a couple of cold days.
KMOX reported exclusively on this back in August when Ackerman, Missouri started disconnecting people in the hard-hit areas of May's tornado. Sandra Paget is the executive director of Consumers Council of Missouri, and she tells KMOX already in November, Ackerman, Missouri has disconnected over 17,000 households. She says that is the highest number of monthly disconnections reported by any utility in Missouri. Paget adds it's unknown just how much money the community action agencies have in order to keep the low energy assistance programs going.
This program is a bonus, usually starting in the fall, because it allows households to receive money that would protect them from disconnection or provides them with energy assistance. Right now, the bill that would release those funds has been held up. It has been approved by a Senate subcommittee and a House subcommittee, but it has not yet been approved by the full Senate or the full House.
Paget says utility bills are continuing to go up, and now there's evidence of disconnections. As to where those shutoffs are happening, Paget does not have the zip codes.
The total number of Ackerman disconnections in 2025 is 87,664 households.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Boeing union machinists will vote this morning on the latest contract offer from the company.
I spoke to machinists on the picket line who say they believed yesterday was the final day of the strike after they narrowly rejected Boeing's last offer, 51 to 49%. Marshall Daniels, a 40-year machinist at Boeing, says the economics of an over 100-day-long strike is beginning to wear on them.
Economically, we're feeling tired. We're feeling wore out. And with the holidays coming up and insurance, people, they're ready to get it over with.
If approved, the machinists would return to work on Monday. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
When something tragic happens in the hockey community, you'll often see families put their sticks out on the front porch in remembrance. Now the youth hockey community in St. Louis will put their well-loved sticks in a permanent place to remember Afton's number 72.
16-year-old Colin Brown was killed by a stray bullet nearly a year ago as he and his dad drove along I-55 on their way back from a hockey game. His club, the Afton Americans, is creating a new meeting space in his honor.
So it's going to be a space to bring people together. And that was actually a space that brought the teams together when we found out about the tragedy. We all kind of grouped up and met in that room the next day to support each other. So it seemed like the best place to really honor him and continue that support.
Afton board member Julie Jordan tells KMOX the space at the Afton Ice Rink will include an entire wall crafted of used sticks donated by players from across the region. She hopes players will write messages on them for future generations. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Towers in St. Louis's skyline are coming down slowly.
That would be the two towers of the Millennium Hotel complex on 4th Street that's been vacant since 2014. The Gateway Arch Park Foundation, which purchased the site, has plans for a $670 million mixed-use development that includes residential and office space, as well as a food hall, amphitheater, and other public spaces. The environmental remediation has been done on 2/3 of the complex, and demolition will be done in phases over the next 2 years. The Gateway Arch Park Foundation is launching a story collecting initiative and is asking people to share their memories, stories, and photos of the hotel, which first opened in 1969. Debbie Monterrey, KMOX News.
7:08 traffic and weather next.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Hey guys, Glover here with my good friend John Moriarty. John and I have been friends and business partners for years now. He is the principal at E3 Consultant Group, and he is back in the DGS fold. So John, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am so happy to be back and also happy to talk about our firm, E3. We have over 70 advisors, Dave, now in multiple cities, working with our clients on the wealth, tax, insurance, asset protection, business consulting side. One of my biggest passions right now is working with business owners and trying to help them reduce their tax liability, improve their cash flow for future generations.
I've known John for years and years and years now. John is a good guy, very smart, excellent pitcher in baseball. That means a lot to me. You have
those days are long gone.
You have a new book out.
We do have a new book out. It's called The Entrepreneur Playbook, written for business owners that have an entrepreneurial mindset. And the book should be dropping on Amazon probably in the next 30 days. And we've got white papers that are supporting it. A lot of that information is going to be on our website at e3wealth.com. But the key thing to me, Dave, is we try to keep creating educational tools for business owners, individuals, families, so that they can protect the purpose of their money.
So whether you are interested in classic personal retirement, business growth, or just an overall tax strategy, reach out to my friend John at e3wealth.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's check on the roads. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got some trouble spots out there right now, Scott. I'm looking at one of them. I mentioned it at the top of the hour. They say it was a crash. It looks to me like a stall. Doesn't really matter, though. It's the left lane that's blocked. Southbound 170 at the Old Bonham overpass just south of Olive. Traffic's only backed up to Olive right now because of it. And the other crash we have is westbound 64. It was in the right lane before 25th Street. Looks like they moved it to the shoulder now. There's still delays approaching 111 into that area. While we're on the Illinois side, I'll tell you that eastbound 64 is still bumper to bumper from just east of 50 through Greenmount. Then it's slow most of the way to 158. Route 3 is kind of busy coming up from Jerome all the way up through Monsanto in spots, so just be prepared there. Out to the west, we have a backup, a little bit of a backup. Westbound 70 through the Wright City Rest area in that construction zone. Eastbound 70A into Bryan Road, that's pretty busy. Southbound 61, south is P onto 64 at the Boulevard, a brief delay running through Winghaven. Volume north 270 from 55 through Gravois, Big Bend through Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, northbound 55 slow into 67, and then from the Union Road overpass up to River de Pere. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine through some high clouds today. A nice afternoon. The high temperature 67. Cleared this evening. Partly cloudy late tonight, though 52. Tomorrow, sunshine mixed with clouds. Breezy and warmer for the afternoon. The high 78. The record is 81 from 1971. For Saturday, another warm, breezy day with clouds and sun and a high of 79. The record again, 81, set in 1971. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's still a cloudy sky out there. Again, we're going to have a nice day. It's warming up little by little. It's now 41 degrees downtown at the Arch.
There's a big cleanup downtown today.
The Tourism Trash Force does these twice a year. Explore St. Louis and the Downtown Community Improvement District brings staff and volunteers to do a massive cleanup of downtown. It just so happens a supercomputing conference will be here Monday and bring with it 20,000 attendees. There are 2 shifts, one from 10 to 12 and one from 2 to 4 down at America Center. The director of Convention and Visitor Services at Explore St. Louis states downtown is the front door for many of the region's visitors, and the Trash Force is part of taking pride in our community. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
As you heard here on KMOX, after 7 decades in downtown St. Louis, Peabody Energy is moving its headquarters to Des Peres. KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says it doesn't make that much of an impact.
So they'll still be in Metro St. Louis, even in St. Louis County. So metro-wise, it won't have much of an impact. Symbolically, it is a knock for downtown.
The Brookings Institute recently did a major study of downtown St. Louis this year.
They see a lot of opportunities in terms of small and medium-sized businesses moving into downtown.
East Alton is discussing a change in their bike ordinance to add e-scooters.
I walk early in the mornings. I can hear them sometimes.
Village of East Alton Mayor Darren Carlton says there's no real problem or single incident as to why they're updating the bike ordinance to include e-scooters and a new minimum age.
13-year-olds older than 13 should be able to ride on the side of the roadway. But I can tell you this, too. We're not going to go out. Police department's not going to go out and start citing people either. So it gives us a tool if we need to use it.
Old bike rules will apply to e-scooters, like requiring a headlamp, a bell, and brakes. Village of East Alton is looking to vote and pass the ordinance Tuesday, November 18th, unless the board decides to make changes.
I don't look for any opposition.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Local ER docs say they see a lot of injuries coming in from riders who crashed on their e-bikes or e-scooters. Dr. Tiffany Osborne is a WashU emergency medicine and critical care physician at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
In general, injuries from electronic scooters and e-bikes have increased sharply over recent years, and they're significantly greater than those from traditional bicycles. Riders, they're more likely to require hospital or ICU admission and to sustain traumatic brain injuries, so injuries to the brain such as bleeding or concussions, compared to regular bicyclists.
Dr. Osborne says too many riders are not wearing helmets on e-bikes and e-scooters, while many others are doing so while intoxicated. Her advice: put on that helmet, ride sober, watch where you're going, and stay in designated lanes. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
College basketball late last night. Nevada clipped SIU 86-81 in overtime. And before that, Mizzou, very impressive 83-60 win over Minnesota. Largest margin of victory over a Big Ten team ever for Mizzou basketball. Dennis Gates' team making some early noise. Eli Drinkwitz might be out of the college football playoff, but he's not going away quietly. He is making lots of noise. Here he is on Learfield on his radio show. You know, there's a lot of speculation about Drink, that he may end up at Penn State or some of these other schools. His name is being mentioned constantly. I don't know if you hear what he's talking about here about his own school. Use your own judgment. Take a listen.
You know, I know there's been a lot of different takes out there over the last 2 years. We haven't been able to beat some of these teams. You know, the one thing I'll just remind everybody, to go from good to great, that's the hardest challenge. To make that next 6-inch jump, man, that's the toughest challenge there is. And so for us, we got to find those margins. As a coaching staff, as players, we got to go continue to, hey, how do we make that next jump? And part of that next jump, we made a jump a couple years ago when we built this new indoor to match. We're the furthest north playing school in the SEC. We didn't have an indoor. So we got that. And now the university has said, you know what? We need to match what everybody else is doing facility-wise, so we're going to build you a $250 million north end zone. So we're doing the things that we need to do. Now we've got to continue to, hey, how do we maximize rev share? How do we maximize third party? How do we get a roster that is equivalent to the rest of those rosters in the SEC? And we're pushing like crazy to do it. So what I want to encourage everybody is, instead of getting negative about it, instead of pointing fingers and blaming, again, I'll take all the blame. That's my job as the head coach. But what we need to do is all push and find, hey, how do we go good to great? And let's not throw out the baby for the bathwater. Let's not get discouraged. I'm reminded, there's a story about the rock cutter. Mm-hmm. And when you're cutting a rock, you got to sit there and pound the rock. And it's not going to break on the first blow. It might break on the 99th blow, but it's not the 99th blow that did it. It's all the ones before that. And so, hey, you know what? We've come up short a few times. That doesn't discourage me a bit. Our team's going to keep responding and keep fighting. We're going to keep putting ourselves in those opportunities until we break through. And you know what, at Missouri, we haven't broke through a lot. That's just our past history. Doesn't scare us a bit. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep getting up off that mat. We're going to keep going and approaching it and attacking it. So, I don't worry about all that stuff, but I want to encourage our recruits, our fans, our true fans, and our team. Man, I'm proud of you.
Eli Drinkwitz, head coach of the Missouri Tigers. The college football playoff continues on, and some of these teams fighting for a spot in the top 12. It'll be Oklahoma at Alabama on KMOX Saturday afternoon. Saturday night's a really nice game, too. Texas at Georgia. In the NFL tonight, the Patriots and the Jets will go at it in Foxborough, and the Cy Young Awards handed out yesterday in the National League. Paul Skeens, first pitcher in 40 years to win the Rookie of the Year and then the Cy Young the following year. Pirates pitcher was outstanding and a unanimous choice. And in the American League, back-to-back wins for the Tigers, Tarek Skubal. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that they were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-Day Bath and Kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all of the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It feels like we have stories about the housing market in the news almost every day. It's kind of hard to keep it all straight. Is it good? Is it bad? Is the inventory up? What are the mortgage rates like? If you have to sell a home, all of that can seem pretty confusing, but if you have the right agent, you don't need to worry about it. If your agent is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, you know that your home is sold guaranteed, and it'll be sold quickly and for the most money. How do I know this? Because Gloria Liu has a proven track record. She sells hundreds of homes a year and has thousands of satisfied clients. Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 will actually sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. She makes guarantees because she can back them up. And if you think you have a particular situation that you're not sure about, just call her and talk it over. Gloria will sell your home guaranteed. Gloria has the buyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. 314-325-6888 for Gloria Liu.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:21. Let's check on the roads. Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the jam's a little bigger. It looks like they may have cleared that stall, though. We had Scott on southbound 170 at the old Bonham overpass south of Olive, but we're jammed back to Page now on south 170, so the backup's gotten a little worse. Southbound 270, Olive down Ladue, that's typically slow there. If you're on eastbound Highway 70 from A all the way in through Bryan Road around T.R. Hughes, a little busy. If you're on southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway into 64 to about the Boulevard, and then through Winghaven, you've got delays, a little slow down to Clarkson. If you're on northbound 270, 55 to Gravois, 44 to Manchester, Clayton Road up through Ladue, that's all busy. North 55, slow midway up from 61 through 67, and then A up toward McNutt's kind of busy. The right lane's north of Butler Hill, all lanes from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear. Downtown westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplars kind of busy. There's still a little backup as, by the way, 111 into 25th Street because of an earlier crash, in northbound Route 3 from just north of Jerome up through Monsanto. There's stop-and-go pockets, eastbound 64, that roadwork jam from 50 in through Greenmount as well. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather sponsored by Lion's Choice. It's going to be a nice day today for some Lion's Choice. High of 67 degrees, sun and some high clouds. A low of 52 tonight, and then tomorrow a high of 78 degrees with sunshine. Lion's Choice, where you can enjoy a quick and delicious meal, but make it healthy with plenty of low-cal, low-carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something to satisfy everyone on the Lion's Choice menu. Stop by today, Lion's Choice. Cloudy and 40 right now downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:23. After 43 days, the federal government is finally back open for business. Last night, President Trump signed a bill to end the shutdown a few hours after it was passed by the House.
House Speaker Mike Johnson hasn't committed to a vote to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies, the Democratic sticking point. House Democrats say they'll keep fighting.
We believe as Democrats that health care has to be a right, and a right that's affordable and available to every single American in the United States.
With the shutdown ended, federal workers could start getting back pay within days, but it could still take some time for full food aid to be restored for 42 million Americans receiving SNAP benefits. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The government shutdown is over, but it will take a while for some federal services to get back up to speed. Here's CBS's Michael Wallace.
SNAP benefits should be fully restored later today, but it could take a couple of weeks for Head Start early childhood programs to get the funds they need to restart. The airlines will need a week or so to shuffle their planes and crews and get their schedules back on track, while air traffic controllers return to their posts. The White House says federal workers should get their back pay in about a week, but that may vary by agency.
Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation froze flight reductions at 6% last night. CBS's Chris Van Cleve is at Phoenix's Sky Harbor Airport.
Airlines are hoping they can seamlessly move into the Thanksgiving travel rush, which really picks up a week from Friday. The Friday before Thanksgiving, we should start to see flyer numbers start to climb.
The FAA says staffing levels and sick calls for air traffic controllers are stabilizing, getting closer to pre-shutdown levels.
St. Louis police have arrested a suspect related to an hours-long standoff early yesterday morning that started with a pursuit in Illinois. 39-year-old Roy Barnett Jr., charged with unlawful use of a weapon, unlawful possession of a firearm, dangerous felon prior conviction. SWAT was called out to West Florissant and Alcott, and the standoff ended around 6 o'clock with the arrest of the suspect. No injuries were reported. St. Louis police say relative to the pursuit or any other incidents should be directed at the Pontoon Beach Police.
A massive battery manufacturing plant planned for the North Riverfront is officially dead. The Israeli company proposed a $574 million project, but pulled it because the Energy Department yanked an almost $200 million grant to pay for it. The new facility would have reportedly brought about 150 high-paying jobs. It had been considered a big win for North City. The grant was among about 600 renewable energy and related grants that were canceled by the Trump administration.
Popular drugs used for weight loss can lower rates of death among colon cancer patients. CBS's Michael George.
Researchers from UC San Diego found that colon cancer patients taking GLP-1 drugs, the class of drugs that include Ozempic and Wegovy, were less than half as likely to die within 5 years compared to people who weren't on the drugs. The biggest benefit was among patients with a very high body mass index.
The Illinois Public Health Department is issuing another warning to parents: stop using By Heart formula. The recalled brand of powdered infant formula had been linked to 15 suspected or confirmed cases of infant botulism in 12 states, including Illinois. This comes after the recall of By Heart formula was expanded to include all lots of the brand's Whole Nutrition infant formula.
In Illinois, 2 infants have become ill after consuming the product. Infant botulism is a serious infection with symptoms that may include drowsiness or lethargy, a weak cry, poor muscle tone, constipation, and other issues. Infant botulism symptoms can begin up to 30 days after a baby consumes contaminated formula. IDPH urges parents with unopened containers of By Heart Whole Nutrition infant formula to throw it out or return it.
A new poll finds that more Americans than any other time in the past 2 decades say they'd like to move out of the U.S.
40% of women aged 15 to 44 say they would move abroad permanently if they had the opportunity. A Gallup poll finds they increasingly lack faith in national institutions. Today's gap between younger men, 19%, and women, 40%, wanting to leave the U.S. is the widest Gallup has recorded on this trend. The percentage of younger women wanting to move to another country first rose decisively in the run-up to President Trump's election to his first term in 2016, continued to climb, hitting 44% in President Biden's last year in office, and remains near that level. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Time to talk cars, and Genesis of St. Charles has your next car. Are you in the market for a new car? Have you even thought about it? Well, I would highly suggest you just drop by. You can drop my name if you want, Genesis of St. Charles. Tell Shay, the general manager, that you heard me talking about him on KMOX. He'll be happy to hear that. And they will get you all set up. A test drive of a Genesis. Might I suggest going to the back of that beautiful dealership and getting a nice hot cup of coffee. They have a great coffee machine back there, all the fixins as well. And then take a little drive and enjoy a Genesis. The Genesis vehicles are outstanding. They have such great deals, too. You can unlock them by going to genesisofstcharles.com, and every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. So you get 3 years of that great coffee and all the service and everything else that comes with Genesis of St. Charles. No games, no gimmicks, just upfront pricing. Unlock the e-price today at genesisofstcharles.com during the signature event. Genesis of St. Charles is not only the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri, but they are Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. genesisofstcharles.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Plus, with live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game is started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it's coming soon to Missouri. This way, you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sports app. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
At 7:31, it's cloudy and 41 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got slow going on southbound 61 from just about Highway P down onto 64 through Prospect. Opens up before you get to the boulevard. Not as bad east of there. There's some slow stuff through the Chesterfield Parkways. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out to Hanley. Slow. South 270 approaching 364 to Ladou's. Busy. South 170. Let's call it Midland down to Page. It was that earlier crash or stall we had south of Olives cleared, and that's just what's unwinding in the area now. Eastbound 70A in through Bryan Road is kind of busy. If you're on northbound 270, pretty much backed up as you ramp on from 55, then it's pretty much just off the pace from there all the way up through Ladue. Northbound 55 slow into 67 and around Highway A. The right lane's a little busy at Butler Hill. More of a solid jam from the Union Road overpass up through to just before Loughborough. Looks like we have an incident there, maybe a minor crash causing a problem. Northbound Route 3 still has pockets from Judith headed up through Monsanto to the bridge. Westbound 64 still have a backup 111 toward 25th Street, where we had an earlier crash in a couple of spots from the 70 splits of the Poplar to Heavy, and eastbound 64 jams 50 through Greenmount. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Quite the warm weather forecast today. We're getting into the upper 60s with some high clouds and sunshine in the afternoon. Overnight around 50 degrees. And then tomorrow and Saturday, we're flirting with records. The high 78 tomorrow, 79 on Saturday. Both days, the records are 81 degrees. Then we're in the upper 50s for Sunday and Monday. It is 41 in St. Peter's, 44 in Florissant, 41 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:33. There's a new statewide addition to Guns and Hoses.
Kansas City is coming to town, sending 2 of their first responders to square off with St. Louis's in the annual fundraiser for the Backstoppers. Guns and Hoses Executive Director Steve Holly says this started when Kansas City asked for a fighter from St. Louis to come to their event.
And we said, hey, why don't you guys come down? We'll bring one of your guys. And then we asked them to bring one of their female fighters. So we're going to have a male and female from Kansas City versus a male and female from St. Louis.
FanDuel has also joined the cause as a new sponsor and donated $300,000 to the Backstoppers. Fight night is set for Thanksgiving Eve. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Sean, thank you. And that telecast will be live on Fox 2 Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving. This is our 4th year in a row, I believe, doing the telecast on Fox 2. I'll have the play-by-play along with Jesse Finney, former fighter, Chris Pronger, Hall of Famer and former fighter on the ice. On the floor will be Fox 2's Jasmine Huda, and KSDK's Julie Tristan will be our ringside reporter.
Should be fun. With nearly 75% of the vote, Clayton residents have approved modernizing governance structure. The Board of Aldermen will be changed to City Council Clayton. The charter amendments modernize city governance by updating procedures, clarifying provisions, and adopting gender-neutral language, most notably renaming the board and removing several sections related to specific departments and commissions from the charter allows them to be established by ordinance instead.
A major chain founded and headquartered in Illinois is making some serious cuts.
Walgreens has announced paid vacation time for holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas is over. It comes weeks after the Deerfield-based pharmacy chain was acquired by a private equity firm and as a result laid off nearly 100 corporate employees and revealed plans to close its office in downtown Chicago. Bloomberg reports in order to receive holiday pay, Walgreens employees will now need to work on holidays, a move that could cost full-timers hundreds, even thousands of dollars. CVS, on the other hand, provides full-time workers with 7 paid holidays each year, plus time and a half for working those holidays. Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Coming up next, your Bloomberg Money Minute. It's 7:35.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's 7:37, and your Money Minute is sponsored by BC Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. U.S. stock futures are struggling for direction as traders grapple with an outlook for interest rates, with the longest government shutdown in history now over. Tech stocks are also lagging in pre-market trading amid concerns that the artificial intelligence-led rally has gone too far, too fast. The world's biggest entertainment company reports earnings ahead of the opening bell. Disney's subscriber growth on various platforms, including Disney Plus and Hulu, will be a big concern. A lot of subscribers canceled those services over Jimmy Kimmel's suspension and its ongoing content dispute with YouTube TV. Disney's revenue is still expected to increase, though, thanks to its theme parks. And there's a new line of Cheetos and Doritos that won't leave your fingers orange. Pepsi's introducing naked versions of the popular snacks that strip out artificial dyes as part of a push to boost healthier options. So because they won't have added colors, they'll be a pale yellow instead of bright orange. The company says they are designed to taste the same as the originals. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and immerse yourself in the captivating sounds of Russian folk music. Witness a rare event of flame and fantasy as music director Stefan Denev and your SLSO bring Stravinsky's The Firebird to life. Pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudet joins to perform Khachaturian's Shimmering Piano Concerto. November 21st and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
Purina presents A Century of Service.
This is KMOX Radio.
KMOX is celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining St. Louis. On November 20th, KMOX Day, we will celebrate the KMOX pioneers.
This is Jim White for your information.
Legendary voices.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Groundbreaking programming.
KMOX Radio. We're at your service.
And unforgettable moments that have defined a century of broadcasting.
We did locate Ben this afternoon, and we've also located Sean Harnbeck.
Hear from current and former KMOX personalities who have helped make this station the preeminent news, information, and sports brand in America. A century of service, celebrating 100 years of KMOX, is presented by Purina, your pet, our passion, on the voice of St. Louis. KMOX. Sunday, the Chiefs head to Denver to face the Broncos.
Sightman Cancer Center game time, 2 p.m. Sightman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Chiefs, the Broncos. Catch all the action here on your home for Chiefs football. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:41. Let's update the roads with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, we've got a jam on northbound 55 right now. This traffic reports the service of financial and tax strategies that extends from the Union Road overpass up through River to Pear. Just before Loughborough, there's a crash. Left lane's blocked, so only the right lane's open, and that's why it's a solid jam. That whole stretch, north 55, north 270, north of 55, all the way to Ladouce. Busy, south 270, Dorset to Ladouce, slow. Eastbound 70 from 64 in through Bryan Road's pretty busy. If you're on southbound 61, north of Wentzville Parkway into 64 to about the Boulevard, slow. It's delayed approaching Highway K and through Research Park through the Chesterfield Parkways, and busier now from Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. The Innerbelt south of Page down through about Delmar, and then it's picking up the pace. Westbound 64, Science Center into Big Bend, slow. Westbound 64 on the Illinois side, approaching 111 to 25th Street, and from the 70 split to the Poplar, and eastbound 64 backs up, approaching 50 most of the way to 158. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Well, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, I got asked to play golf today and tomorrow. My schedule is jammed. I should have planned better because this weather is absolutely perfect. I messed up.
I'll take your place. How about that? I might not do very well, but I don't care. With weather like this, you want to get out and make the most of it. A lot of high clouds today, Tom, but there'll be sunshine, too, through those clouds, especially this afternoon. That's probably the best part of the day. Our high gets to 67. We start out clear tonight. I think some low clouds will sneak in from the south late tonight, but it stays kind of balmy. The overnight low 52. Those clouds will thin out. We'll get enough sunshine and a gusty breeze in the afternoon to get into the upper 70s. That's right. That's not a misprint for tomorrow. 78. And we're going to do it again Saturday. Sun and clouds, breezy, warm 79. Front comes through in the afternoon, and then behind it, it's much cooler, back to normal for this time of the year on Sunday with sunshine, the high 59. Clouds and sun on Monday, the high again about 59. Right now, it's 41 at St. Peter's, 44 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, 45 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It is 7:43. A jury has reached a verdict in a case stemming from a deadly plane crash overseas.
A federal court jury in Chicago has awarded $28 million to the family of a woman who died in the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX in Ethiopia in 2019. It was the first civil trial from the crash that killed all 157 people on board. Shika Garg was a UN consultant. Boeing had already agreed to pay her husband nearly $3.5 million in a deal reached out of court. Boeing has accepted responsibility for the crash and has settled most wrongful death lawsuits. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Missouri's Office of Administration is overseeing use of artificial intelligence within more than a dozen state agencies, and that responsibility extends to cybersecurity. Tim Marcheski, OA's Director of AI and Innovation, says their AI tools have built-in security.
Not just security slapped on at the very end. It's built in from the beginning. Also, rigorous testing and quality assurance. So doing that early prototyping, doing those tests, making sure that you're getting the answers you expect from the models.
And there's always a human in the loop to make sure AI is not arbitrarily making decisions for the state of Missouri. Marcheski also tells Missouri Net the Office of Administration does not use free public tools such as ChatGPT or free Gemini. It's 7:45. The one making decisions for the Cardinals is a human being, and his name is Chaim Bloom. He is the president of baseball operations, and he will be in charge of the Cardinals moving forward. How do they get this thing back on track? Well, Bob Nightingale is in Las Vegas following Major League Baseball's GM meetings and tells us on the Gas House Gang that if you're expecting big returns on any of these Cardinals trades, you might want to pump the brakes just a bit. This is a rebuilding project. Here is Nightingale, the USA Today baseball columnist.
There's not a whole lot of guys you're going to get, pieces back. Sonny Gray, you're going to have to eat some of that contract to get back a decent prospect. Nolan Arenado does not have the same value as he had, a year ago at this time. So they'll listen to, listen to other people. They'll listen to all names. But there's not a whole lot there that's going to say, oh, these guys are going to bring back a thing and really kickstart the rebuilding project. But I think it's going to take time. I just don't think there's those guys right now at the major league level that are going to get you the prospects you need.
Some of those other names that are attracting attention, Brendan Donovan and Alec Burleson, according to multiple reports. The Cy Young Award winners in the National League, it's Paul Skeens. He was a unanimous choice 23-year-old right-hander for the Pirates, a 1.97 ERA. He's the first pitcher in 40 years to win the Rookie of the Year and then the Cy Young the following year. And there have been only 12 players in baseball history to win back-to-back Cy Young awards. One of them is Tarek Skubal of the Tigers, who won it yesterday in the American League. Mizzou basketball looking tough yesterday, beating Minnesota 83-60. They scored 51 second-half points. Very unselfish, 5 players in double figures, led by Mark Mitchell's 18 points. Mizzou beats Minnesota 83-60. That is the largest margin of victory for a Mizzou team over a Big Ten team ever. 23 points, eclipsing the 22-point win over Illinois in the bragging rights game 3 years ago. Southern Illinois took Nevada to overtime last night, but ultimately lost in Reno. Final score was 86-81. In the NFL tonight, Thursday Night Football will feature the Jets at the Patriots. We have some college football this weekend, a good CFP matchup as Oklahoma will visit Alabama. The 4th-ranked team in the country will have its hands full with the Sooners. They have a really good physical defensive line. We'll see how Alabama handles that. Number 5, Georgia will be hosting Texas. Oklahoma and Texas would desperately love to get a win in either of those places. We'll see what goes down in those two really good SEC games over the weekend. Mizzou is going to take on Mississippi State this weekend, and it looks like they're going to have Brett Norfleet possibly back for them. The tight end is listed as questionable for that contest. Illinois, also out of the CFP at this point, will be hosting Maryland at 2:30. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Frank Ladd. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Let's talk McKelvey Homes and all the great things that they do, including finding the best places to live in the fast-growing area of O'Fallon, Missouri. McKelvey Homes is all over it. The Estates at Post Farms, an exciting new community that combines small-town charm with big city convenience. Just down the street from the shops at Hawk Ridge, minutes from Heritage of Hawk Ridge Golf Club, the Estates at Post Farms offers easy access to shopping, dining, recreation, and top-tier schools in the Wentzville School District. And it's conveniently located near highways 364, 64, and 70, so quick and easy commutes to major business hubs. Great place to have both work and play in your life. This is the Estates at Post Farms from McKelvey Homes. Visit them online, McKelveyhomes.com. McKelvey is Missouri's oldest home builder. They started back in 1898, still going strong with a great reputation. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyhomes.com.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.
Help KMOX make the holiday season brighter for St. Louis area children by supporting TSO Tuesdays, benefiting Sightman kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. On Tuesdays, Sugar Fire will donate a portion of their TSO Tuesday special to Sightman kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Get your tickets today for this holiday tradition. All you need to know at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Traffic and weather together. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, we still have slow traffic on North 270, north of 55, pretty much all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Dorset, down to a point just north of Olive. Then it starts to pick up the pace. South 170, approaching Olive, so south of Page, Woodson, down through Delmar, and then after that, again, it's opening up as well. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got slow stuff from A and through Bryan Road. After that, it's not so bad. It's a little busy right around Bermuda into our Jennings Station. Eastbound 64, Prospect toward the Boulevard. Approaching K through Research Park's busy. About Annie Guns into almost Timberlake, and then there's slow stuff east of Ballas in stretches. It's not all the way through the intervale, just a couple of slow spots. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend is busy. If you're on northbound 55, that's still a little trouble. We have that crash in the left lane just before Loughborough, so traffic's backed up south of Rivas Barracks into that point. Westbound 64 downtown from the 70 splits of the Poplars heavy, and eastbound 64 jams approaching 50 through Greenmount, then slow most of the way to 158. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg has a great forecast. Sunshine through some high clouds, high 67 today. Tonight, clear, low 52. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds, breezy and warmer in the afternoon, and a high of 78 degrees. 79 for Saturday, and Sunday's high with some sun will be 59. Currently, cloudy, 42 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. After 43 days, the federal government is finally back open for business. Last night, the president signed a bill to end the shutdown. Jared Hill from CBS has more.
Hours earlier, the House passed the bill to fund the government through January 30th, give federal workers back pay, and reverse shutdown-related layoffs. The measure also included 3 year-long spending bills to fund multiple programs, including SNAP. 6 Democrats crossed party lines to vote yes. 2 Republicans voted no.
Even if there's some clarity, the benefits are on the way. Exactly when they arrive will matter to millions of Americans. About 42 million lower-income Americans receive SNAP benefits, on average about $190 monthly per person. Many say the benefits don't and aren't intended to cover the full cost of groceries in a regular month. Even with careful budgeting, it's worse when benefits are delayed.
41-year-old Doretha Washington of St. Louis and her husband have themselves and 6 kids to feed. She tells the Associated Press they don't have enough money to cover those costs. Her husband works at servicing heating and cooling systems, but the family still needs SNAP benefits to get by. They received nothing this month, although Missouri said Tuesday that partial benefits would be issued. She's been rationing what they do have.
A nonprofit is recruiting the next generation of teachers to fill Illinois classrooms. Carolina Garibay reports.
Applications are now open for the Scholars and Accelerators programs in Illinois, led by the Golden Apple Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to preparing and supporting future educators.
We're providing intensive wraparound support so that you don't feel alone. You have a strong peer network that we help you build with other aspiring teachers in our programs every summer. And then we give you some intensive tools and support that not every university has the ability to deliver at scale.
Golden Apple CEO Alicia Winkler says more than 1,800 applications have already been started for the programs.
I don't want that to discourage people. I want it to encourage them. We do encourage folks to tell us authentically their story about why they want to become a teacher, because this does take an element of persistence and grit that goes beyond what everybody is born with.
A possible cause for lupus. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. New research finds a common virus is responsible for triggering lupus in hundreds of thousands of Americans. Lead researcher Dr. Bill Robinson at Stanford University.
Epstein-Barr virus, or EBV, is a common virus. 95% of us are infected with it. And we frequently are infected with EBV when we're young children. This common virus, EBV, appears to infect the key autoreactive cells and drive people to get lupus. These insights into the mechanisms that mediate lupus will hopefully result in new drugs and therapies that will hopefully much more effectively treat and hopefully even cure lupus patients. The study would imply that vaccination to protect against infection with EBV would thereby result in a person being protected against developing lupus during the course of their lifetime.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
I'm Joe Pott. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Now, everybody knows that Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is the best garage door company in the area. They started back in 1926, the one with the red ribbon, the genuine, the original, the one that repairs, services all brands of doors and openers. But did you know that they give a 10% discount to veterans and active military in the month of November? Yes, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, for all veterans and active military, they are doubling their usual veterans discount. It is now 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. All products, all services. All doors, openers, any service or repair, 10% off. Details on their website. Schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in by calling 314-781-5200. That's 314-781-5200 for Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They invented the overhead garage door. They have the best technicians in the business. They have the one with the red ribbon. In fact, they're so good that everybody tries to copy the name. Not everybody, but there are some. We see you out there. OverheadDoorSt.Louis.com is what you want. The genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Just before 8 o'clock, let's check on the roads once again. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, they cleared the crash northbound 55 before Loughborough. We're still jammed, though, from Green Park up to River to Pear. It's going to be a bit for that to thin out. North 270, north of 55, all the way up to Ladue, busy. South 270, Dorset down to 364 slow. South 270, or South 170, rather, south of Page down through Ladue, Delmar area is kind of busy. Eastbound 64 slow through the Chesterfield Parkways and around the Innerbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley is pretty busy right now as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
With Scott Jagow, I'm Tom Ackerman. Debbie Monterrey follows us, and the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is over. What happens now?
America's largest warship now positioned off the coast of Venezuela, and the U.S. military buildup there continues. Are we going to war?
You may see a bunch of people downtown today picking up trash, and you can join them. We'll tell you more about the tourism Trash Force.
The Epstein files are back in the news, and some emails released yesterday add fuel to the fire to get them released.
It's one of the oldest German sister city relationships in the nation. Learn more about the St. Louis Stuttgart celebration going on this week.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A pleasant day today with sunshine and some high clouds, or high 67.
Talk. Cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The end of the government shutdown will spell relief at the airports, but it's expected to take a while. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve at the airport in Phoenix.
The airlines are hoping they can seamlessly move into the Thanksgiving travel rush, which picks up the Friday before Thanksgiving. Aviation analytics company Cirium crunched some booking data that shows there was a pullback in the pace that people were booking travel for Thanksgiving starting around November 1st. And while Thanksgiving does look to be busier than last year, it may be less busy than earlier indications were pointing. And that tells us that at least some people either opted not to take a trip or opted to wait and see how things were going as delays and cancellations were climbing over the last 2 weeks.
There are more than 1,500 delays and cancellations in the U.S. so far today. The first lawsuit's been filed over the botulism outbreak linked to an infant formula.
A Kentucky couple claims By Heart Whole Nutrition formula caused their 4-month-old daughter's botulism. She was hospitalized for 5 days. ByHeart has recalled the formula, which the CDC has linked to at least 15 cases since August. Dr. Stephen Abrams at the University of Texas says botulism can weaken an infant's neurological system.
They can't move as much. They get constipated. Eventually, if it's severe, which can happen especially in babies, they'll stop breathing.
This is the first known outbreak of infant botulism tied to powdered formula. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
An attempted murder indictment in a controversial police chase in Baltimore.
When a police officer threatens the safety of those who are sworn to protect, it erodes the crucial trust between the community and law enforcement.
City State's Attorney Ivan Bates. CBS's Tom Hansen has more.
The man appears to refuse and starts walking away. Officer Parks then allegedly tells the individual he's going to call the dogs and come get him before returning to his vehicle and pursuing the man through a vacant lot in his cruiser at a high rate of speed, allegedly striking him and nearly running him over.
An atmospheric river is bringing threats of high gusty winds and heavy rain to the West Coast. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
San Francisco, eventually Santa Barbara, slight risk of seeing some flooding there. Then tomorrow down across parts of Southern California. And then over the weekend, especially on Saturday, Los Angeles to San Diego could see some heavy rain there and maybe some debris flows of mudslide.
The very last penny's been minted in Philadelphia. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
Many big chains from Kroger to McDonald's are encouraging electronic payments and exact change, or they say they'll round cash purchases to the nearest nickel.
Dow futures are down 107. This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
It is 8:03, and right now we've got cloudy skies, 42 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Exclusively on KMOX, Consumers Council of Missouri says Ackerman, Missouri has disconnected more than 17,000 Missouri households for non-payment.
Sandra Padgett tells KMOX low-income households are having a tough time keeping up with their bills.
This is not surprising because we know that over the past year, Fire increased their rates by 10 to 12%, depending on where you live in Missouri. Ackerman raised their rates recently by 12%, and Missouri American Water raised their rates by 25%. Another concern is that we don't know how much money the community action agencies who administer the LIHEAP funds. LIHEAP is the Federal Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. We don't know how much money all of the community action agencies across the state have to keep this program going.
In the past, Ackerman has said they have programs to help people. However, one of those programs supplied grants, usually one-time grants of about $150. The majority of most Ackerman bills, since the rate hike especially, are substantially more. Organizations like Heat Up St. Louis will always help those who have nowhere to turn. Go to heatupstlouis.org. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to Ackerman, Missouri for comment. Boeing union machinists vote this morning on the latest contract offer from Boeing.
I spoke to machinists on the picket line who say they believed yesterday was the final day of the strike after they narrowly rejected Boeing's last offer, 51 to 49%. Marshall Daniels, a 40-year machinist at Boeing, says the economics of an over 100-day-long strike is beginning to wear on them.
Economically, we're feeling tired. We're feeling wore out. And with the holidays coming up and insurance, people, they're ready to get it over with.
If approved, the machinists would return to work on Monday. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A riverfront landmark is coming down. Demolition officially gets underway today at the Millennium Hotel on 4th Street. An environmental remediation of the Central Building and South Tower has been completed. According to the Gateway Arch Park Foundation, the demolition will be done in phases over the next 2 years. In its place, eventually, will be a $670 million mixed-use destination developed by the Cordish companies. The Millennium first opened as the Stouffer's Riverfront Inn in 1969. It's been vacant since 2014. There's a big cleanup today downtown.
The Tourism Trash Force does these twice a year. Explore St. Louis and the Downtown Community Improvement District brings staff and volunteers to do a massive cleanup of downtown. It just so happens a supercomputing conference will be here Monday and bring with it 20,000 attendees. There are 2 shifts, one from 10 to 12 and one from 2 to 4 down at America Center. The director of Convention and Visitor Services at Explore St. Louis states downtown is the front door for many of the region's visitors, and the Trash Force is part of taking pride in our community. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
East Alton looking to regulate e-scooters away from sidewalks.
This is Stuart McMillan.
We just want to get ahead of the game.
Village of East Alton Mayor Darren Carlton says the board is being proactive with an ordinance that updates city bike code to include e-scooters. He says the upcoming vote this Tuesday is not reactionary to any problems with bikes or e-scooters within the city.
Electric scooters, are becoming a big thing, and we kind of want to limit the ones that are on the sidewalk.
The ordinance would also change the maximum age for riding on sidewalks.
We actually changed it. No person 13 or more shall ride on a sidewalk. So we want to get the older ones off the sidewalk.
The mayor sees this ordinance passing with no opposition.
Local ER docs say they're seeing an increasing number of people coming into the hospital after a crash on their e-bikes or e-scooters.
Dr. Tiffany Osborne is a WashU emergency medicine and critical care physician at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
Predominantly, you're going to see facial and brain injuries. 83% of people who are severely injured in e-scooters, they sustain some injury to the brain or the face.
Dr. Osborne says too many riders are not wearing helmets on e-bikes and e-scooters, while many others are doing so while intoxicated. Her advice, put on that helmet, ride sober, watch where you're going, and stay in designated lanes. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Peabody made headlines recently for announcing they're moving out of downtown and to Des Peres. KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says it's part of a shift from bigger companies to smaller ones.
What is cool to see is that small and medium-sized businesses are moving downtown. And as downtown develops more of these things that give it a flavor and a 24-hour presence, the opportunity for future moves of big companies downtown increases.
We are going to take a break, and when we come back, traffic and weather. We'll talk more about what's going on with the U.S. and Venezuela and the government shutdown as well, which has ended. By the way, the Musial Awards are coming up on November 22nd. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. It's a red carpet event. It is quite a spectacle. If you've never been, we'll have your chance to win a pair of tickets coming up in about 30 minutes. So keep listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 8:11. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, northbound 55 isn't jammed like it was, but I'll still call it heavy in pockets from Green Park all the way up through to about Holly Hills. Northbound 270, Tesson Ferry all the way to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64 a little slow through Clarkson and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley slow. Westbound 64 is also backed up from K to a point about a half mile west of there. It looks like roadwork delays at that point. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar still slow, and eastbound 64 jams approaching 50 past Greenmount Road. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, thank you, Roger. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling weather desk, we are going to have a nice day today. Sunshine, some high clouds, 67 degrees tomorrow, a high of 78, and then 79 on Saturday. So a little summery weather returning. Right now in downtown St. Louis, it is cloudy and 42 degrees. It is now 8:12, and the United States' largest warship, the USS Gerald Ford, has arrived in the Caribbean and joins a significant percentage of all deployed naval assets in the U.S. Southern Command off the coast of Venezuela. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson is joining us, and I think maybe a lot of people are wondering what is up with us and Venezuela, Eleanor.
Good morning. Yeah, that's right. There are still a lot of questions, especially why sending the most advanced, the largest aircraft carrier to the Caribbean when there hasn't been an aircraft carrier in a high-profile deployment to that area for maybe decades. The carrier will join about 8 warships that are already there. The carrier has 2 destroyers, and what the concern is that when the carrier arrives, there may be a decision from the president and from the Pentagon on what exactly they're trying to do vis-a-vis Venezuela. President Trump has made no secret he does not like Venezuela's President Maduro in power, that he would like to see him go, but it's whether the administration takes action to try and force Maduro out.
Yeah, that is a good question. Is this about regime change, or is it about drugs, which is what the President Trump has been saying it's about?
That's right. And that's what's sort of confusing is in the lead up to the carrier arriving this week, we've seen since September strikes on alleged drug boats, claiming that these boats are carrying narcotics that are coming to the United States. That's been a change in how drug interdictions are usually done. Usually the Coast Guard will board a boat suspected of trafficking and arrest the traffickers and treat them as criminals instead of combatants, which is what the administration is doing right now by bombing them. Now, the first few boats, the administration did claim those boats were coming from Venezuela, linking the fight against narcotics to Venezuela. But since then, the boats have been hit in the Caribbean and in the Eastern Pacific, and some of the individuals on those boats have come from Ecuador or Colombia, not just Venezuela. So the lead up to a decision on Venezuela has been a little bit murky because of these strikes on alleged drug boats.
The former prosecutor of the International Criminal Court says these could constitute crimes against humanity. So we'll see what comes of bombing these boats. But will Congress be weighing in on any of this soon, and shouldn't they be?
That's a great question. Congress, there have been a few Democratic lawmakers with Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky who have put forward a few resolutions, war powers resolutions, trying to rein in some of these actions by the administration. The most recent one they put forward was a war powers resolution that would require the administration to come to Congress before any actions in Venezuela. The resolution failed. A lot of the Republicans who voted against it still said they expect the administration to come to Congress, who does have some sort of, obligation of oversight in decisions with kinetic military action.
Well, Eleanor, thank you for the update, and I'm sure this is not the last we'll be hearing about the U.S. and Venezuela. Thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you.
That is CBS Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson talking about the buildup off the coast of Venezuela. It is now 8:16, And it's time for us to switch topics because, of course, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is over. The House approved a bill last night. President Trump signed it. Joining us now is CBS congressional correspondent Nicole Killian. And Nicole, how long now that this is over is it going to take for things to get back to normal at airports and with SNAP benefits, et cetera?
Well, it will happen in phases. So basically what we will see starting today is that some things have already started to reopen. For instance, here at the Capitol, the visitor center is back open for tours. As far as federal workers are concerned, many of them will be back on the job today, although they may not get their back pay until this weekend. You have Smithsonian museums that will be opening starting tomorrow and into the weekend. As far as SNAP is concerned, those benefits should be restored, according to a USDA official, within 24 hours, although that timeline could vary depending on states. And so as far as the airlines are concerned, that may take a little longer to resolve just because, it's a huge system. And obviously all of these delays have really kind of snarled traffic. So that could take a little bit longer to unwind.
Democrats were holding out for getting the tax credit for the ACA back in to keep people's health insurance costs from skyrocketing. The Senate leader, John Thune, has apparently promised Democrats that they would work on this, but there's no such promise from House Speaker Mike Johnson. So essentially, I guess it's a draw.
Yeah, well, it does present a conundrum, in terms of how this issue gets resolved, because on the one hand, last night when he signed the bill into law to fund the government, the president said that he was willing to talk with Democrats, work with Democrats on this. But at the same time, he has railed against the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, has said it needs to be overhauled or in some instances eliminated. Obviously, that is something that doesn't sit well with Democrats who, blame Republicans for trying to repeal and replace Obamacare for years now. So whether or not there can be some good faith negotiations remains to be seen. That's likely to happen more so on the Senate side, since Leader Thune has indicated that he will try to hold a vote on this. Republicans in the House say they have been working on some health care proposals. But interestingly, we saw just yesterday Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries file what's known as a discharge petition to try to force a vote on the health care subsidies. He's calling for a 3-year extension.
All of this, though, isn't over by any means, right? Because this agreement, or whatever the president signed last night, takes us through the end of January.
That's right. So the hope is that we're not here 2.5 months later all over again. But, I would point out that in terms of the bill that passed last night, yes, it does fund portions of the government through January 30th, but other parts of the government will be funded for a full year, like the Department of Agriculture. That's why SNAP benefits will be funded in full for a full year. Priorities and programs related to Veterans Affairs and military construction will also be funded for a full year. So parts will have to be renewed in January, but other parts will continue their funding into next fall.
All right. Nicole, thanks so much for the time this morning. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Nicole Killian is our CBS congressional correspondent, and it is over, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. But again, we may be revisiting some of these topics at the end of January, so we'll keep you posted. It is 8:20. It's time for us to get you another check of the roadways. If you're just heading in, Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And this traffic report's a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, Debbie. It's still busy on 55 and not quite as bad, but the Union Road overpass up through Loughborough is still pretty heavy from an earlier crash. Northbound 270, Tesson Ferry, most of the way up to Ladue is still busy the whole way through. Southbound's no big deal. Roadwork westbound 64, west of K has a backup at 94. Eastbound 64, still slow. Clarkson to Timberlake and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Big Bend. That's a little off the pace. Eastbound Highway 70 looks great from Wentzville all the way to downtown. Westbound 64 just busy west of 3rd Street, but we still have a pretty good-sized jam. Eastbound 64 approaching 50 through Greenmount. It's still heavy most of the way in to 158. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, thanks, Roger. The weather is going to be really nice these next couple of days, unless you're ready for cold fall weather, and then you won't like it at all. But it's going to be sunny with some high clouds today and a high of 67 degrees, 52 overnight. Then tomorrow, sun, clouds, breezy with a high around 78 degrees. Saturday's high, 79. And then it cools off Sunday and Monday. We'll have clouds and sun, a high of 59 both days. Right now, it's 42 degrees with clouds, and you may see some folks downtown today doing something that I give 2 thumbs up to. We'll talk more about tourism trash pickup next.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is giving veterans and active military 10% off all month. That's 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
It is 8:24, and it's not too late, I don't think, if you want to get involved in a very worthy cause and effort today. The Tourism Trash Force will be in full force downtown. Rob Gatz is joining us. He is the Visitor and Volunteer Services Manager for Explore St. Louis. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Debbie.
Okay, so I like the catchy name, the Tourism Trash Force. What is the Tourism Trash Force, and where will you be?
Okay, great. Well, the Tourism Trash Force is a group of volunteers that come from the hospitality community, or hotels, or restaurants, or attractions that are coming down mainly from the downtown area to participate in kind of sprucing up. We do this twice per year, once in April during Earth Day, and then once in the fall like we're doing now. And we will be downtown, mainly in the downtown streets around the Americas Center. We are getting ready for a large convention, about 20,000 people for supercomputing. So we want to spruce up the area a little bit.
Well, that is a very worthy effort, because nothing makes a city look bad more easily than trash everywhere. It's one of my pet peeves, Rob. I hate when I see people throwing trash down. So how many volunteers do you expect to have today?
We will probably have about 16 to 17 per shift, and we'll divide them up into groups of 3 or 4, maybe a little bit more, to get them to kind of dispatch them to some of the areas that we felt that I looked at yesterday that may need a little love. And again, we're getting ready for this big group to come in town. So this is a perfect timing for this event.
I'm just curious how much trash, when you did this in the spring, how much trash do you actually pick up around downtown?
Every person probably picks up a bag and a half of trash over a 2-hour shift. So last year, last April, we probably collected between 40 to 50 bags of trash.
Wow.
And again, with our partner, the Downtown Community Improvement District, they come around. They're the Purple People Clean team that are around downtown picking up trash. So they assist us in collecting those bags as we go throughout the downtown community.
What kind of other volunteer efforts does Explore St. Louis do besides the tourism trash force?
As me as the volunteer manager, we also have we man our visitor centers within St. Louis. That's about 5 visitor centers, including 1 seasonal. And then we, of course, have our convention volunteer team that actually helps people as they come into the Americas Center. And they, again, help people, direct them through. You come into an autonomous building, you make people feel warm and welcome and help them find where they're going to within the convention center, whether it's an exhibit hall or a meeting room. So we have those opportunities. We also are asked by others in the community, such as the Great Forest Park Balloon Race, Evolution Festival, to actually come in and help them with volunteer activities. So I then send out a recruitment within our own volunteer database.
Well, thank you in advance to all of the folks listening. If any of the trash volunteers are listening to KMOX right now, thanks for picking up the trash. And if people want to volunteer with Explore St. Louis, just go
to our website at explorestlouis.com/volunteer.
It is the tourism trash force. If you see folks around downtown picking up trash, give them a honk or thank them for their service. And thank you, Rob Gatz, Visitor and Volunteer Services Manager for Explore St. Louis, for telling us more about your efforts today.
Thank you, Debbie.
It is 8:28, and the Time Check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
It is 8:30 and time for us to check in again with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still some heavy traffic on North 55, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Scott Lee Heating, North 55, just from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, but it's pretty congested through there. North 270, slow down both sides of Gravois. 44 all the way up to Ladue is still pretty heavy. Westbound 64, 94 past Highway K. It's bumper to bumper into that construction zone. It opens up before you get midway out to Winghaven, however. Eastbound 64 is still some heavy stuff. McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Bellevue out to Hanley's a little slow. Other than that, eastbound 70 looks great coming in from Wentzville downtown. Westbound 64 just slow across the Poplar. And still a big roadwork back up eastbound 64, approaching 50 past Greenmount. It opens up as you approach 158. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by your local Lennox Premier dealer, Scott Lee Heating.
Scott Lee Heating's Premier Dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about our special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com.
The weather is going to be very spring and, well, actually summery like for mid-November. We're going to hit 67 degrees today with sunshine. Tomorrow, 78, 79 on Saturday. It does cool off a bit for Sunday and Monday. But right now it's 43 and cloudy in downtown St. Louis. It is 8:32. House Speaker Mike Johnson had kept Republicans out of Washington, D.C. for 6-7 weeks. He said no point of them being there if Democrats weren't ready to talk about reopening the government, but others said he was just trying to dodge talking about the Epstein files. Scott McFarland, CBS Justice correspondent, is joining us right now, and House members are all back in D.C., and of course, straight out of the box, we get news yesterday morning, Scott, about the Epstein files. At first, it was just 3 emails that we were seeing, but apparently a lot of documents have been released.
23,000 pages of documents were released just yesterday. In your mind's eye, just picture 23,000 pages of anything sitting in front of you and how fast you could navigate through it. And this is not an easy read. Some of this is very dense. Some of it's almost cryptic. It's hard to get your way through these messages. So we're still working our way through what's been released. It's the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee who obtained these records, who spotlighted those 3 emails yesterday morning, including one in which Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, his co-conspirator in 2011, that Trump spent a lot of time at the Epstein home, including when one of the victims was there. They also spotlighted an email from 2019 when Epstein wrote to an author that, of course, Trump knew about the girls and had told Maxwell to stop. The White House has responded to all this, saying these are selective leaks, cherry-picked by Democrats from the broader set of records, those 23,000 pages, and that the records show there was no wrongdoing or misconduct by President Trump.
Although President Trump is eager to not have any of these records released, because I understand he has been calling, well, Congresswomen Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert to get them to take their names off of this petition to force a vote, right?
Yeah, that didn't work. Their names remain on the petition to force a vote. And we expect that vote to come next week in the U.S. House. I think the bigger question right now is there some type of wave that forms? I mean, do you want to be on the wrong side of this politically with your constituents? And I'm not sure what the right or wrong side is in every district in America, but it's possible that there's a flood of Republicans who join this bill. If it gets to the floor and it gets a winning margin, there may be a tidal wave of votes in favor of it. And if that's so, it doesn't mean the Epstein files get released. That bill would still have to be passed by the Senate and signed by President Trump, but it may raise the pressure on senators, including our local senators, to decide if they want to be on the yes or no side of this bill. But no matter what, it just raises the profile of this controversy at a time when the Trump administration would rather be talking about pretty much any other thing.
And so, Scott, when we're talking about 23,000 documents being released yesterday, what are those documents as opposed to the Epstein files?
Yeah, these documents are quite different. It's a good question. These documents were released to the House Oversight Committee. Republicans issued a subpoena from that committee to the Epstein estate, the bookkeepers for the late Jeffrey Epstein, for the records that they have on his communications. So the Epstein estate complied with the subpoena, handed over the records. The House Oversight Committee released the tonnage yesterday. And as we mentioned earlier, the Democrats took a little virtual highlighter to some of the things they wanted us to look at in particular. The Epstein case files are held by the Department of Justice. No one knows outside of the Department of Justice how voluminous those things are. But what Congress is considering doing is forcing the Department of Justice to release them publicly. Could be an awful lot more than 23,000 pages.
And I know a lot of people have asked, and I don't know if you have an answer to this. How do we know that the Justice Department is properly preserving or keeping these files and not doing something else with them?
That's a fair question. I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to ascribe any motivations to people outside the Department of Justice. There's an awful lot of career officials, non-political civil servants who work there and presumably have some oversight over these records. But we also don't know what's there. What kind of there is there? The Department of Justice has not taken questions on this. Think, when's the last time you saw the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, taking questions at a press conference, or the FBI Director, Kash Patel, answering questions about this? They simply haven't made themselves available outside of Fox News to talk about anything. So there's a lot of questions. There's just been no chance to ask them.
CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarland, thanks for the time this morning.
Anytime.
It is 6:37. Stay with us here on Total Information AM. And coming up in just a few minutes, your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Musial Awards. We'll give you your cue to call in coming up.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
It's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. Striking Starbucks baristas are talking about trying to make the strike today even bigger than it is right now. So far, about 1,000 workers at more than 60 stores are striking on Starbucks' promotional Red Cup Day. Disturbing the force on the very day, Starbucks tries to get more foot traffic by giving away those reusable free red cups. Workers United accuses Starbucks of refusing to fairly negotiate. Starbucks accuses the union of abandoning negotiations. Cisco shares are surging this morning after an AI-fueled outlook exceeded estimates. Different picture, though, for Disney. It is blaming film studio expenses for weaker than expected results. NBC Universal launching a new cable sports channel next week, with sports including NBA games and Premier League soccer, and also sports talk programming. And FanDuel is debuting a prediction market app to rival Kalshi. This will theoretically allow FanDuel to open up in states where traditional sports betting is illegal. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
All righty, we're getting ready to get in, come into winter here, where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace. If that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now there's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Let's see if your ride into work is smooth sailing. Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's getting better, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, but we still have heavy traffic. If you're northbound on Highway 55, it's pretty well thinned out at River to Pear, but North 270 still stop and go pockets approaching 44 up through Manchester. We had a crash at Manchester. Once you get past that point, you're okay. It's road work going on westbound 64, West Decay. It has a jam approaching 94 to that point. Eastbound 64, McKnight through Hanley, Big Ben's heavy, and a little slow Tower Grove into Vandeventer as well. On the Illinois side, of course, that's the biggest road work back up. Eastbound 64, approaching 50 past Greenmount, and then it picks up the pace by the time you get about midway into 158. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year Young Mutual Company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, cloudy skies, 43 degrees, warming up to 67 today. It is 8:42, and if you'd like to go to see the Musial Awards November 22nd at Stiefel Theater, be our fifth caller right now at 314-955-1120, 314-955-1120. Welcoming into the studio, Mary Lou Falcone, who is an internationally known classical music publicist and strategist. And I'm sure we could talk about that for hours.
Yes, but that's not why I'm here.
That's not. In fact, you're also an author, and your book is I Didn't See It Coming, Scenes of Love, Loss, and Lewy Body Dementia. So there's a lot to get in there, too, because we're hearing more and more about Lewy body dementia, and I know I'm interested to know more as our listeners. Your partner of more than 37 years, Nikki Zan, died of LBD in 2020.
That's correct.
And for people who are thinking, I don't know artist Nikki Zan, I Googled it and I'm like, oh, absolutely. Everybody just Google it and you'll say,
oh, yes.
Oh, yes, I know his work.
Well, his work was actually the Victoria and Albert Museum, where the pop art collection has him as part of the permanent pop art collection, has said that Nicky, was the inspiration for Roy Lichtenstein.
That's amazing.
Because he came first, and they used to be in galleries together, that is, standing side by side, never talked to each other. But indeed, the similarity is very much there. Nicky came first.
And you're in St. Louis because you've been spending some time at Washington University. And why is that?
Yes, Washington University has been amazing. They have accepted and taken the Nikki Zan archive. And right now they have an exhibit up of the life of Nikki Zan, which is up through December the 14th, open to the public. And it is a collection of all of his illustration. Nikki was an illustrator, a caricaturist, and a cartoonist. Then later in life became a painter, an oil painter. But the exhibit there is all of his illustration, cartoon work, and caricature work.
And it's going to be on display, but then the university is also, are they archiving it or preserving it?
Yes. So the display is only a portion of the collection. The collection is about 1,500 pieces have gone to WashU. And they have lovingly curated the whole thing, digitized it.
And why is Washington, is there a connection?
There is a circuitous connection. The head of the Dowd Library, archival, it's the Dowd Research Archive, is currently Andrea Degner. And her predecessor was a woman by the name of Skye Lacerte. Skye Lacerte is now the curator of illustration at the Swan Auction House in New York City, where Nikki and I had a relationship, and I still do with them, of working with Nikki's art over the last 10 to 15 years. When Sky came in as the new curator, she said to me one day, did you ever think about an archive? And I said, well, sure, everybody thinks about an archive, but how do you get an archive? I have no idea. And she said, I do. She introduced me to her successor, Andrea Degner, and Andrea and two of her colleagues came up to New York, viewed the entire collection, which was stored in my closets in big portfolios. They looked at every single piece and they said, we want this collection. And I just smiled and said, it is yours.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that is circuitous, but also a very St. Louis sounding story.
Well, it's also St. Louis. WashU has the only master's degree in illustration in the country. So that's why illustration is so important to their archive.
But let's talk about Lewy body disease, because it's something I'm not really that familiar with. And now you certainly are. You talk a lot about this in your new book, but in a nutshell, what is it?
Lewy body dementia is a neurodegenerative disease. It is the second most prevalent progressive dementia after Alzheimer's, affecting 1.4 million people in the United States alone. So it is not a rare disease, but it is often misdiagnosed as Parkinson's, as Alzheimer's, and as a psychiatric disorder. The month of October is Lewy Body Dementia Awareness Month. I wrote the book because I couldn't get answers when Nikki was diagnosed, and it was very difficult to find a path. I felt no one should have to go through Lewy body and find the path to be helped. And so that's why I wrote the book.
Was it something was it diagnosed as that right away, or did you have to go through, we think it might be this or might be that?
Most people have to go through years of being misdiagnosed. We didn't. I thought when Nikki had triple bypass surgery in 2017, I had been seeing some erratic behavior. And I thought, well, not enough blood getting to the head when I got the diagnosis of triple bypass for him. And I thought that will cure it. That was just the beginning of the end. The hallucinations continued. I mean, what separates it from Alzheimer's, just parenthetically, is that Lewy body goes in and out. So one day you're 100% yourself, and the next day you don't know who the person standing next to you is. That's number one. Number two are hallucinations, which start early on, either audio hallucinations or visual. And the third is something called REM, sleep disorder. When you and I are asleep, we dream, but we don't act out our dreams physically. People with Lewy body act out their dreams. So it becomes dangerous if you're sleeping next to someone and they dream that they're actually punching you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Is it something that he was aware was happening? Because that sounds really frightening for you as well.
Yes. Nikki was very aware. In his lucid moments, when he was diagnosed, he said three things to me. The first was, we have had a great run. We cannot be sad. That's a message that I carry in my heart every single day. The second thing was, I have always wanted to meet your father, and now I'll have my opportunity. And meaning that he knew he was dying. And the third thing was, I know this is going to get rough. Please help me to keep my dignity. And that's, I think, what I am most grateful for, that I was able to help him keep his dignity. He was diagnosed in March of 2019, and he died 16 months later in July of 2020 during the pandemic. And that's very fast. This disease usually goes between 3 and 8 years.
You say that it takes a long time. Are there tips before we have to wrap this up for people who may be recognizing something's happening with a loved one or maybe with themselves? Are there certain symptoms or things that you should say to a doctor or tests that you should ask for?
Yes. In our case, we did a REM sleep disorder test, which shows you if you have REM sleep disorder, and that's one of the earmarks, as I said. And the other is a DAT scan, D-A-T scan, which basically is like an MRI, but more integral in the brain. Those two things helped. There is now a skin biopsy test, which you can take, very non-invasive. They take a little patch from the back of the neck, the back of the knee, the back of the ankle, and they can tell whether Lewy bodies are present. Lewy body is a rogue protein in the brain that goes wonky. It's the same protein that goes wonky in Parkinson's disease. So very often, if you have Lewy body dementia, you also have it with Parkinson's, which was the case with Nikki.
That is Mary Lou Falcone. The book is I Didn't See It Coming, Scenes of Love, Loss, and Lewy Body Dementia. So check that out. I know this is going to be information some of our listeners are going to be very interested in. And of course, you can see Nikki Zan's artwork through December at Washington University. Thank you so much for spending time with us on KMOX.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This fall, get a taste of what's to come at Dragonstone, an exclusive new Lombardo Homes community in Darden Prairie, west of Highway K and south of 364. Join us Saturday, November 15th at our Inverness display in O'Fallon for a grand opening celebration filled with treats, a cozy coffee bar, mini pumpkin pies, and a first look. Dragonstone, building Tradition Series homes and offering only 5 spacious home sites. Dragonstone offers luxury and privacy, as well as the convenience of living just minutes from Highway 364 and 64. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
St. Louis has a number of sister cities, and this one is celebrating its 65th anniversary. It's the St. Louis-Stuttgart relationship, and the president of the St. Louis-Stuttgart Sister City relationship is Suzanne Evans. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Debbie.
All right, should I say Stuttgart or Stuttgart?
Whatever you want to say. It's Stuttgart. I mean, I'm from the area. That's how we pronounce it, Stuttgart. But most people say Stuttgart.
Now, this is a 65-year-long relationship. I understand it's one of the oldest German sister city relationships in the country. You've been the president of this for 20 years, so I don't know how far back you can go to give us a little bit of flavor of how it all came about.
Well, there are different stories how it came about, and we're still trying to search the archives. According to Stuttgart, it was a nurses exchange initially. Then Mayor Tucker went over there to explore the city of Stuttgart, and they realized that we have a lot of similarities. Back then, the automotive industry, which is still huge in Stuttgart, Mercedes and Porsche are headquartered there. And we had a large automotive industry back then. But from what I understand, it was initially an exchange between hospitals and nurses.
What do you think St. Louis gains from having not just sister city relationships, but also a relationship with Stuttgart?
What we have gained are various university exchanges, high school exchanges, art exchanges, lots of cultural exchanges, and also some business development between the cities.
And I know that the Sister Cities program is part of World Trade Center St. Louis, which is a great organization that I participate in their big growing global event every year. And I imagine this is just kind of all part of that mission of getting people around the world and building relationships.
Sister Cities is all about mutual understanding. And back when Dwight Eisenhower started this grassroots organizations, he said that people make friends, not politicians, pretty much. So that's what it is all based on. It's normal citizens creating long-lasting friendships. I mean, even some marriages have come out of these exchanges from the high school exchanges.
Well, and speaking of high school, I know Circus Harmony, which is our social circus school based at City Museum, they developed a relationship during COVID with another youth circus in Stuttgart, right?
Yes, Circus Harmony created a relationship with Circus Circuli. That's what it's called in Stuttgart. And when COVID started, they created this amazing video between our two cities, a 15-minute video, which can be found on our website, actually, that features historic places in St. Louis, and they perform in front of them, and vice versa in Stuttgart. Circus Circuli performed in various historic places in Stuttgart, and they put this together, and actually they have been visiting each other's cities for 2 or 3 weeks each year and do amazing things together.
I know that after 20 years of heading this sister city relationship, you are stepping down as president. So that'll be part of the big gala on November 14th. As you reflect on those 20 years, what have been your high points and things that have changed over those 2 decades?
Well, it's been very rewarding, and the relationships that have been formed are irreplaceable. Visits, the delegation visits, are always the highlight, and we have a delegation coming in, the deputy mayor, Dr. Clemens Meyer, and his delegation, and he's in charge of security, order and security in Stuttgart, and sports. So we are highlighting St. Louis sports. We're going to visit the Cardinals. We're going to visit St. Louis City SC. And we have a big meeting with the Board of Aldermen, the mayor. These relationships that are being formed when these delegations visit also Stuttgart, they last for a long time. I mean, they are building bridges that they can collaborate together and come up with new programs.
It is a 65th anniversary of the St. Louis-Stuttgart sister city relationship, and Suzanne Evans is the president for the last 20 years. She's going to stay with the organization, but step down. So thank you so much for spending time with us, Suzanne.
Thanks for having me.
The 65th anniversary celebration is tomorrow night at the Hilton Frontenac. A few tickets remain. STL4Stuttgart.com. That's STL, the number 4, Stuttgart.com.
The longest government shutdown in history has come to an end, and we are going to talk to Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski about that. Also, having a bucket list might change your brain function. We're going to talk to an expert, and we will discuss Cardinals off-season as well. That and more on the Chris and Amy Show right after the news on KMOX.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its